Did you do something different?
Well, let me know. I'll throw my headphones on if there is.
No, not yet. Not
No,
yet.
you're good. You're good, buddy. So we are live. John's not here running shit, so
So
we're gonna be like 80% less racist and 100% less misogynistic tonight.
Perfect. That's the ideal ratio.
That is
that's what I'm saying, right?
I mean, if you have to be any of those things,
I blame John for all of it, so that's
well,
fine.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is that
he's the sexist one, and look, I'm even bringing the black excellence.
That's cool, man. It's cool.
Realized I was wearing that as
what am I wearing? Oh, I'm wearing a German, East German related imagery.
Yeah,
because it's 1992 in my head all the time.
Dude, I live firmly in the 90s. I really do.
I'm an 80s guy, man. I'm not. The 90s stuff was 90s.
I grew up obviously in the 80s. I was born in 79. Like, you're obviously older than me, so you were like more older.
Not that, but I mean, 6 years, I guess, is a long time when you think about.
But my personal thing, like, I mean, all the cartoons and shit from the 80s were my jam, but like, I live in the 90s because that was like sort of the best point, I guess, where I had like fucking no bills or real responsibilities and fucking, high school was, I ran like a organized crime situation in high school. I had my own office and shit. So like, it was pretty dope. I didn't really have to worry about shit at all ever. And I just always walked around with like at least $1,000 in my pocket,
An organized crime situation. It's like a,
I guess I could really openly discuss it because none of the shit that I would talk about at least would be still within the
Was it like a Parker Lewis can't lose scheme, but like
but with drugs and guns and shit.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's Florida. Was it Florida? No,
yeah, the Florida version. Yeah. Well, like I mean, like legitimately, I had like the resource officer and Yeah, I'm starting to hear me through switch thing. But I had the resource officer in my pocket, so like dealer kids would kick up to me, and if they were asked about it, I'd be like, no, they're cool. But if they weren't paying up to me, not only would I like let them get picked up, but also I'd send the guys who were to go like rob their house. I'd get half the value of anything they took, plus 20% on the back end on anything they sold. So really, I was pulling 70 on those jobs. So I really liked when somebody with a decent amount of shit did not pay up, because then I'd get way more out of it. But
I see. Whereas I would like skip school a couple of times,
Mad lad, you.
I wasn't like real studious or anything. I didn't do I did okay in like the tests, but I didn't really do okay in classes.
Well, I lucked out in that my teachers would usually let me, I would make a deal with them because I'd be like, I don't do homework. I just don't, it's a fucking waste of my time. I don't do it. I was like, if I get an A on every test, then I don't have to do homework. And if I don't, I'll do all the homework from the beginning. And the only one who was an asshole ever was my geometry teacher, who was like, you have to get 100 on every test, which I did, except the last fucking test. He marked me off on a partial thing where I didn't show my work, whatever, for 2 points. And obviously intentionally to fuck with me. So I had to do the entire fucking year's homework all in like the last 3 days, which I did. It was fine. It sucked. But I mean, like, I knew the subject enough, you know what I mean? Like, I was fine with it. But shit like that, yeah, I just had...
High school was all right. It's funny because when you're in high school, you hate it.
Oh, I did not.
But now...
But it was my escape from, horrific abuses at home, so I loved it.
I'm a few months away from 50, and I'm like, I miss that. Like, I miss when, like, the dudes I went to high school with were celebrating the fall of the Berlin Wall instead of, like, demanding we build another one between us and Mexico. I miss it before they got old and fucking horrible.
Right.
But not all of them did, but a lot of the dudes I went to high school with, like, I don't know what switch flips in their head, but they weren't like that when we were in high school.
It's like suddenly start getting Facebook messages where it's like, hey, I know we haven't talked in 20 years, but my wife just recently got into MLM stuff, and also here's some racist forwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, fucking A, cool, I guess. All right, thanks. I don't want to buy your wife's bullshit, and also, you could just lose my fucking name.
This one dude, Tommy Huron, that I knew in elementary school. Actually, yeah, Tommy. It's Hurin, Huran.
Okay. You're like,
Hurin.
full Tommy urine. I'm like, oh,
Tommy
so you're
urine.
also an organized crime.
He sent me like, this was years ago, but he sent me like this friend request. I was like, oh shit, Tommy. I haven't seen Tommy since we were in like 7th grade or something. So I go and I friend him and I'm looking at it. It's like all anti-Muslim propaganda. And I was like, like just bounced right out of there. He was on my friends list for like 40 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, man. Wow.
I mean, you know, here's the thing. Like, you shouldn't think that shit. Let's be upfront. You should not think racist or sexist or whatever things, right? But like, honestly, there's always going to be people who do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just miss the days when it was like a shameful thing that they tried to hide instead of wearing it like a badge of fucking honor.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy. It's
like,
crazy.
because now I can't even get like, okay, so my 50%, I have 2 movies that are my go-to answer for like when people are like, what's your favorite movie ever? And it's it's equal parts basketball and American History X. And honestly, smashing those together really does explain my personality pretty like, but literally, I was at one point joking. I was like, I would get the fucking swastika tattoo right here, like where he's like, you know what this means? Not fucking welcome, that thing. But like as a like fucking around and being like, oh, you know, it's a replica thing, like it's just an homage to this movie. But like now, the way things are, there's no way I could be like jokey and have people go, oh, that's bullshit. It's not really a thing.
Honestly,
because everyone would be like, there's swastikas everywhere, you know.
Honestly, you probably would have never been accurate. Like nobody would have looked at that and been like, oh, I get it. No.
Well, I would have to be like, yeah.
No.
People would be like, damn, that Mexican dude.
Even the Anastasi who created the image and used it as a sign of something else are like, we're not going to use that.
Yeah, anymore. Yeah. I love when you look back at shit from like the even the 60s and whatever, and like there's fucking basketball teams just swastikas it up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're like, no, it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
Well, it's
like they weren't just super anti-Semitic.
Yeah, it's flipped.
I mean, they probably were, but that's not why they're wearing that.
Flipped over and tilted, and I don't know. But
so hey, Swit, how you doing?
Yeah, what's up? You look miserable. Why are you look miserable?
I feel like garbage, dude. I slept.
You do. You look like you're feeling like shit.
I slept till 11 adjusted time, which is like, yeah. I just the St. Patty's Day parade knocked me on my ass, I guess. So.
Yeah, that's right. That was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, you should have been there with your wand, Mikey.
Yeah.
You could have been riding in the back of his car going like, also I have a Spengler wand.
They
have either or.
Which congrats on getting that, by the way. I see the guilt trip landed.
It did. Well, no, he was traveling back and forth. So.
No, I know. I just love how every time you're
yeah.
Like,
the kids are all eating. I got them all
already on a new guilt trip.
In Pittsburgh, they call it St. Practice Day. That's what they call it because it's basically St. Patty's Day.
Right.
You know. I haven't changed since yesterday, so
nice.
I'm still wearing.
Nice. I haven't.
I drove.
Wolfenstein Collectibles.
I drove, so it's not like it was hard to do the parade, but like I got up at 6:30 in the morning. I got there at like quarter after 8, and then they didn't know where we were going to be.
Yeah, that's too early, dude. I don't do anything before like noon, man. Fuck that.
Well, we got there and we're like, so where are we? And he's like, so you submitted your paperwork, but we couldn't read it. And so my assistant earmarked it to come back to, and she didn't. So we don't have a spot listed for you, but you're in the 160s somewhere because there's like 175 people lined up.
Okay.
So we're at the.
It sucks being at the end of a parade too. Like honestly,
you'd think so, but you know, it gave us time. It gave everybody time to do photo ops with nobody pushing you forward.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, because when Jaina does like demo team karate shit in parades, and I always fucking hate being toward the back because like you're guaranteed you're gonna hit every bit of the fucking crowds and traffic trying to get out of there like you did getting in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Instead of being like one of the early people done and be like, okay, fucking peace, I'm done, I'm out.
So when the parade ended here in Pittsburgh, it ends. I don't know if you've seen where it ends, Mikey, but like where it ends, you can just kind of pull off if you're one of the vehicles, because no cars can get in there. So there's like a line of cops, and I'm like, hey, I got my lights and everything running. And I'm like, can I cut through over there? And he's like, yeah, I don't care. And then so we cut through like around like a space on one of the saddle horses blocking the road. And then we get to the end and there's another row. And we're like, well, we could move it, we could not move it. And I see like a cop coming. I'm like, and our navigators literally like, go straight ahead and hang a left and you're good. But so traffic's not bad because you can't get anywhere near the parade. So we had to move to them.
Where does it end?
I don't know now. I don't know
down there. I mean, it begins near Civic Arena. Well, Civic Arena isn't there anymore. Big parking lot.
No, it begins over at like, was it Smallman or Smallstead or whatever?
Oh, they must have changed it in the strip district.
No. So it begins off of 26th Street. Off of, so you go down Small I forgot what it is. Small something.
Yeah,
Small man. And then you hang a right on a 26th, and that's where the back end of it starts. Okay. And then it lines up from there all the way to the front.
So it used to start up on Boulevard or by where Civic Arena was. They used to line up there.
So last year it started there too.
Okay.
So no, it's tough on my fucking knee and my leg riding the gas. You know what I mean? I'm glad I don't have a
because you're constantly having to like kind of feather the gas or hit the brake.
Yeah. So you're like, like if you're walking, all you do is stop walking. When you're driving a car, you're like constantly like, I don't want to run over children. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I would rather be driving, to be quite honest, because I keep having, I always have to do these fucking things with Jana, because one of the parents or whatever, like, so we have to like hold bullshit. I hate the fucking like forced march walking bullshit, and we do have to stop and go a lot because the whole point of their demo team thing is they're doing all these like flips and tricks and bullshit, like a routine.
Hands down, driving is where it's at. Like Bubs is in the front seat. He's like waving to everybody. There's another kid there. I told his dad, I was like, if he gets tired, because he will, he can crash in the back of our car. I was like, back windows aren't opening because I got LED signs on them and I'm not fucking with those. I was like, back windows don't open, but he can crash in the car and kind of chill out.
Dude, it being as slow as it is, you guys should do some like Teen Wolf style car roof surfing shit.
I brought my RTV trap, the remote controlled trap out too. And I didn't have it at the parade, but I had some of the kids driving it around while we were waiting to set up because we didn't start till well after 9:30 or almost 10 while we were there.
You were just fucking chilling there for like an hour and a half or two?
Yeah, literally. Well, we all were. We haven't seen each other since November.
Well, yeah, so you catch up and bullshit. I get, yeah.
Yeah, it's been like 4 months, so. But yeah, it was good. And we went to Uno's Pizza when we were done. Like
you went to where?
Uno's over on Homestead.
Yeah.
I love all this like local Pittsburghy stuff for our,
Well, if I was in your area,
following out in there,
there's only one Uno's in your area, and that's over on I Drive.
I don't eat pizza.
Oh,
It's one of the things that people think are weird about me. I don't like pizza. I don't like beer. So now I'm just like, now if people ask me to move, I'm just like, fuck you. I'm 43 and my body's 90. But before it was always like, hey, can you come help me move? I'm grabbing pizza and beer. And I'm like, wow, you just really don't know me at all, motherfucker. Like,
whoa, that's crazy. Yeah. I'm never going to move again. I will.
You're just gonna die there no matter what.
I will die here. Yeah. If
your family's like, we've got to move, you'll be like, I'll see you in hell.
It's a nice place. It's a nice place though.
Yeah, it is. It is nice. And actually,
all the memorabilia
next time, we got the kitchen straightened up, so you'll be allowed in. Because she was like, I can't. This place is nuts, and I'm like, he doesn't care. And she's like, and it really wasn't that bad.
Do they not notice that we don't care?
It really wasn't that bad, but it was cool. They were pleased as shit. Like I told them that you have like a Ghostbusters car, right? And they, a car all decked out Ghostbusters wise. And they were like, oh, that's cool. Thinking like I think they just thought it was like stickers and stuff. Right. Like, I don't think they understood the actual, like, big, like, intensity.
Yeah. Like it's a fucking ecto soul, like is what you call it. Right?
Shit on the roof and everything, and Zoe like looked out the window and she's like, oh my God. And Cheryl, I guess, came over to the window and was like, what, thinking, I didn't realize that was your only car. I thought you guys had another one too.
We do. I prefer to drive mine.
Yeah. and they came and they were like, "Oh my god, we have to go out and see that." So
Yeah, his other one's the DeLorean from Back to the Future. No,
Oh yeah, that's the.
that's
No,
the other car.
Steph's got a Kia Niro, but you know,
okay,
if I'm driving to see you or to my dad's, if I drive to my dad's neighbors get a kick out of the car. So my dad's like, take your car and park it in front of the house. And then, I mean, my dad lives in the podunk middle of nowhere.
yeah,
In Cambridge. He lives in Cambridge Springs. I don't know if you know where that is.
no,
So you know where Edinburgh is?
Yeah.
You know where Meadville is?
yeah,
So between Meadville and Edinburgh, after Meadville, there's Sagertown, and then there's Cambridge Springs. So it's like backwoods. Cambridge Springs is one of those old, like 1900s town that was built around having like, you know, restorative healing springs.
yeah. It can't be big because it's not that far between those two places.
No, and so it's like it's a gas station and a Dollar Tree and a couple stores. So my dad lives way out there, so
It's funny as hell.
all the neighbors are like, you know, they get a kick out of it. So I prefer to, and then if we're going to Erie too, so like I said, I went to the funeral last week and drove my Ecto to the funeral.
Well, you got to cheer up the funeral.
We did.
Photo ops for kids and shit. What else are they doing there?
Did I tell you what we did last week with that?
What?
So did I tell you we drove to the wrong funeral home last week?
That's awesome. So you cheered up 2 funerals.
We went to the wrong funeral home, and this guy came out, and he's just like, I saw your car from the window, because we were like, there's no one here, but this starts in 35 minutes. What the heck? So,
like, sir, we're just here to make sure once they're down, they stay down.
I said we're crowd control. I said we're just crowd control. But this guy came out with his kids, and his kid had a spirit pack on, and like,
No,
At a funeral?
You told me that. Yeah.
yeah, super
Like, you just
excited.
happen to be wearing a pack at the funeral?
No, well, there's a house. It's in like a residential area.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought you were
No,
like just a kid randomly brought his fucking spirit back.
no, this kid came out of the house right next to their house is
Got
up
it.
against the parking lot, and they were like super happy. I gave out stickers to the kids and stuff, which I'm out of stickers now. I got to find some of my surplus.
Yeah,
But,
that's neat, man.
Yeah.
So as far as ectos go, by the way, I do want to say that I think I prefer yours, like the soul with the red, you know, to even the movie accurate like ectos at this point. Like I just think the red roof and shit looks cool. Like it just works.
You know, I was talking to some of the Ghostbusters yesterday, and I was like, I really don't want a Miller Meteor Ecto. I'm
It's
like,
hilarious. I'm sorry, that just made me laugh. I was talking to some of the Ghostbusters yesterday.
yesterday. Well, you know, but I was like,
you do. Mikey
Yeah,
thinks you're fakers.
I
I had
You
a
guys
conference call with the Three Musketeers. No, but okay.
you're the fourth Musketeer.
That's right.
No, but I was like, I really don't want an Ecto. I feel like I go get groceries in my car because it's my car,
Yeah.
and I'm not like looking at people to like seek me out, going, oh, they saw me, you know, for attention.
Yeah.
It's not anything about ego. It's about anything making people smile. But I feel like you have a fucking Miller Meteor Ecto and you go get groceries. You're just like fucking.
You're going.
Look at me.
Yeah.
You're looking for attention doing that.
Right.
And when you're not,
I mean, unless it's the only car you can afford, because, like, you know,
you put all your money into it.
right? Because
But
you're
that's-
eating fucking cat food.
But that's the flip side too. I feel like having that kind of car with that much accuracy, you're only going to bring it out for special occasions, like it's fucking fine china.
Well, it gets shit gas mileage too, unless you like
Yeah.
change the engine and all that.
And
stuff.
even
Well,
so,
that's the
it's
thing,
a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So I drive primarily all day. Like I drive our fucking Prius because it gets like 40 miles to the gallon. My car is way more fun. It's like a fucking 07 Mustang GT that gets 9 miles to the gallon. You know, and I'm like, where am I? Yeah, I'm just gonna fucking drive the one that I don't have to fill up every 3 blocks.
I have nothing. So
Yeah, I know.
You have no car.
I
You
do
fucking
not.
hippie.
I do not personally know.
You
Cheryl
fucking-
has a.
you-
Cheryl has a Nissan Versa, like a Nissan Versa that's like.
Gotcha. Oh, I know. Yeah, I get it. My like Andrea, by the way, just I'm assuming she says hi. She didn't actually, but okay, she
Hello.
waved. But it's funny because she goes, "Who says they don't have a car?" And I was like, "Oh, that's Mikey." And she's like, "Oh, that makes sense because he's not allowed to go anywhere."
Now,
So, like,
do you
Easy
have a
to keep
license?
you in the basement if you don't have a vehicle to escape it.
Yeah, I have a.
Because I've never known you to drive.
I
Like,
had
because
a
you commuted when you worked in the city.
yeah, I had a truck for like hello.
Hi.
What's up, girl? How
Not
are
much,
you?
I'm okay.
Yeah,
How are
good, good. I'm okay.
Are you
Same,
okay? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm great.
same.
Okay.
Yay.
You better not do that. I know the hand signal, so if you do it, I'm gonna know.
Yeah, she's like,
You're gonna get beat.
help me. Yeah.
You know,
My hands
what
are
is it
up.
like this thing? I don't know. Like
Oh yeah, that thing from the YouTube videos.
where
or
you're
whatever.
like,
Yeah, the
send
TikTok videos.
help.
Yes.
I know what it is, so I will pop you right in the stuff.
in the stuff. Oh,
I'll know. I'll know you're trying to get help. They'll never find you.
Shut up.
I had a GMC Jimmy for like 6 months that was like used, and my buddy was like, why don't you have a car? And I just honestly couldn't afford one, and this was like after Cheryl and I split up for whatever. And you know, with the with the like what do you call it, the money, the oh my god, what is it called when they take your paycheck for your kid? Yeah, with that going on and all that stuff, I couldn't really afford anything, and I just never really thought about it, and I didn't need it. But to get back and
That's
forth,
why you guys got back together. I get it. You're
Well,
like,
yes.
hey, baby, I love you, girl.
for financial
Can you
purposes.
please just stop
Yeah.
the support? For fuck's
So I
sake.
was driving. I mean, I did use it. I went to cons and stuff with it a lot, and then I was driving between like Monroeville and home, and the drive shaft fell out of the car.
I haven't had that happen.
You
I've had that
actually
happen.
really want your drive shaft in the car. So yeah.
Yes, you do. Well, you do. It like fell. I mean, it fell off the car, and it just to repair it would have been ridiculous, like $2,500, $3,000, something like that.
Yep.
Crazy.
Anything transmission related.
Yep. And the guy across the street from me was like, "I'll give you $800 for it right now for parts," and I was like, "Okay," because I had to move out of my townhouse. Lots of shit went wrong. I had to move out of my townhouse.
Man,
really
that was
quickly.
not a great time.
It was
for
not a
Mikey.
great time, and I had to move out of my townhouse, and I could only take certain amount of stuff in the truck and all that other stuff, and the all of this shit went down. I had to leave a bunch of stuff there that I couldn't fit in the apartment. I lost like a bunch of stuff. It was really, really bad. It was bad for like a good 5
So we're
years.
lucky to still have you, is what you're telling me.
No, I never got like that. I mean, I got like that one time in my life, or two times in my life. That's why it's hard for me to listen to the talk, because it's like I don't feel that way ever anymore.
Right, probably because you have like the normal amount and type of chemicals in your brain to make you not do that.
I didn't always, like, they had me medicated for a while. You know, after the, I did, I hit a rough spot, and there was some ideations and things, and I ended up on a floor for 21 days, and I did what I was supposed to do, and I got something out of it, and I came out feeling better, and I did all the things I should have done, and just for me it worked out. It doesn't work that way with other people sometimes like their brains just are like,
well, see where it's like, not to get all fucking
But
serious
that's-
mental health talk, but I'm just saying, like, so where I struggle with like the mental health shit, like I don't have addiction problems at all. Like,
Me either.
you know what I mean? Like I went from like straight up 3 packs a day smoking to like, I'm not going to smoke anymore.
Yeah.
And then like I'll go to a concert every once in a while, or like a fucking bar or something where everybody's going to be like smoking, and I just go like, I'll grab a pack on the way in, smoke the whole fucking thing within 2 hours, chuck the empty on the way out, and never have a problem with that. The closest I ever got where I felt that addiction draw was I had my tonsils out, and they gave me that like liquid codeine, and I was taking it as told, right? Like every 8 hours, take whatever, and I fucking was driving with my then girlfriend, my son's mother, and my cousin, and they were just talking like normal, having a conversation in the car. And I just turned and I was like, would you shut the fuck up? Like I was so agitated. And literally they were both like between themselves, like giggling, going like, oh, it looks like it's some time for somebody's medicine. And I went, whoa, okay. So I walked in my house and just fucking threw that shit in the garbage. Like I can quit anything,
Yeah.
But then other shit in my brain goes like, you're fucking garbage and you're fucking should just die.
My thing is buying stuff.
Oh yeah, I do that too.
But it's weird because it used to be retail therapy kind of vibe. When I felt bad, I would buy stuff and I would, and
Right.
it would, and you know,
I do
but
that sometimes.
now it's like I don't feel bad on a day-to-day basis. Like I go through like everybody else.
Yeah.
There's like a week during the month where I get my bastard, just like every guy does, you know. And but like I still do. I spend for some reason. It's like and my therapist and I talked about it, and it probably comes from, you know, the fact that my mother's, you know, born again. Did I ever tell you guys that?
Yeah, that they torched all your
They
shit.
torched everything I had. So if you look at all of the shit that I have on my walls and things, 99% of it is stuff I had when I was a kid, and then like all the stuff that I like, you know, it's like all the Star Wars guys I had as a kid, and then all the Star Wars guys I would have had if I kept getting, you know,
Right.
You know, Chris
It's
Star.
funny how that shit works, you know, because I have the buy thing, but for the exact opposite reason, in that like where you were like it was taken from you and you know you want to get it back. Mine was like the only shit that basically, you know, I ever got the feeling that my parents even fucking cared that I was around was like when they gave me shit. So now I'm like, oh, I want to hoard all that same shit that I had. Not only I still have the exact same shit, like my box of like every Ninja Turtle that ever existed, you know, with all the stuff, because I took care of it all, you know. So I have all the original shit. Plus, like now I'll see something that like, you know, did get left behind in a move or something, and I'm like, I must have it again, you know?
Yeah. It's funny because friend of mine from high school was like, hey, have you read the Jeff Johns run of JSA, of Justice Society of America? And I was like, man, that's a book that I've always wanted to read, because it's kind of has its ties a little bit to Starman, which is one of my favorite runs of a comic, and blah, 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 blah. And like I immediately was like to eBay looking for omnibuses. I'm like, okay, all three of them for $245. I'm like, that's a lot of money. But that's like, you know, if they're $80. So I went on Amazon. I'm like, okay, they're $80 a piece on Amazon. So if I get one, and if I get and it never even occurred to me, like, you could just read these digitally. Like, you don't need to have this physical.
Well, you're big on that though. Like, but the problem, like, even with that, you guys always talk about all the omnibuses. I can't fucking read most of them because they're just too much.
They're big. Yeah, they're big.
I don't bother with that shit anyway. I end up buying the fucking trades if I buy them at all, and then I'm like, I gotta find a place that has those cheap. Otherwise, I'm just eating it on that shit, because like 25 a pop, and there's like, you know what I mean, like 30 of them. I'm like, oh yeah.
Like I just like, you know, eBay. Just like every single Grant Morrison Green Lantern, are they good? People are like, well, I didn't like it, or I don't know if you'll like. I like Grant Morrison stuff, so I know it's going to be bonkers and weird and cosmic and whatever. So I could have read them digitally, but I just, you know, you need the thing, you know. And Cheryl asks me, why do you actually need them?
You just do. I just subjected my kids to the extended cut of Green Lantern live action.
I like that movie.
I did too.
It's not bad. I don't understand like why. I mean, I have seen so many worse movies.
It's just that I just think I think it has the same problem that the Fantastic Four movies had, whereas it's just not big enough. It's just not. I mean, it's cosmic, and Oa and all that shit looks super cool, but it still seems very. It's almost not epic enough, I guess. Or something.
I can just like Black Adam was not as good as Green Lantern in my mind.
No, but like, see, Black Adam, I watched it on the flight from Disney, and like quite enjoyed it. I thought it was perfectly fine. Like, it's not going to, you know, it's not going to blow anybody's mind, and it's not going to be a classic, but it was a perfectly entertaining way to spend a couple hours of my time while trying not to think about the plane crashing, you know? Yeah. I hate flying. Ugh.
Really?
And this was
like that at all, man.
What's that?
I don't mind the plane flying at all.
Oh, I don't see. You have embraced the idea of your mortality. I want to live forever.
Well, but here's the thing.
I've
been told that this is a delusional situation, but I actually, there's no proof to the contrary, so fuck you guys, whatever.
Yeah.
I am the main character of this story, and I am fucking unkillable.
Okay.
I've been challenging the universe to take me out, God, whatever you want to call it, since the day I was fucking born.
Right.
And it hasn't happened.
Right.
And even to the point of like, I don't know, a few years ago, apparently I had like, or they believe I had like a fucking mini stroke, and that didn't do shit. I didn't go to the hospital. I don't bother with that. Literally, like, what, 2 nights ago, I'm told, like, oh, that was a heart attack there, buddy. And I'm like, go fuck yourself. You can't take me out. In November, I was in the hospital for a week. They gave me the go home and get comfortable to die talk.
Yeah.
And then I mean,
that's a good way to look at it, though. That's almost a good way to look at things if you want to. Like if you're like Lieutenant Dan sitting on top of the mast challenging God to yeah. Is that all you got?
That's how I live, man.
You know, and
I don't know if you noticed, but I do play it a little fucking fast and loose. In fact, like I'm not rulesy either. I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah, no.
Well, but like I got my daughter in trouble at school. That's why I was like, I feel like a shitty parent the other day because like it was something stupid, but I was like, yeah, no, it's fine. You can do that. I don't care. It's like no one's gonna give a fuck. And then but apparently the school did give a fuck. So
okay.
One of those where like it blew back on her and I'm like, she's 8. Her job is to listen to me over anybody.
Like, why do I have these? Why do I have Showcase 95 and Showcase 93 and Showcase 94? Like, why? They're not even very good. It was the 90s.
Know, but you know what you should do is take that first Booster Gold appearance that you finally got.
Yeah, I did.
And throw that in the box in your garage. That's eventually
but you know what I am putting in the box? Hang on.
It's a dildo, isn't it?
It is a dildo.
You wrote "Go fuck yourself" across it.
It's the very dildo that was
all that's going to be in the box.
No, I'm an idiot. Okay, let's have a new segment called Mikey's an Idiot. And I was looking at my database, my comic book database, and I'm like, I got New Teen Titans Volume 1 up until it turned from number 1. Number 2, the first appearance of Deathstroke is the Dollar Comics. It's not the real one. I can't afford the real one. It's a reprint, but anyway, whatever. It's the same issue. All the way until it turns into reprints. Right. And then
I can't do the reprint thing like with the G.I. Joe ones I'm collecting, like the Tails.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Oh,
I have 2 of them that are the Tails ones, and I'm like, I got to get this as an original, whatever,
So, it turned into what sucks is that it went from being the New Teen Titans to Tales of the Teen Titans. And those were original stories, and then it turned into reprints from starting one, but it was still going. And then,
that's what the G.I. Joe did, right? They did the Tales of whatever, and it was fucking reprints straight through,
right? And then the second volume of New Teen Titans with the same team, Marv Wolfman and George Perez, and everything started when the other one turned into New Teen. So anyway,
real quick, Sean, I just want to apologize that I'm not on top of comments and shit because like that's usually John's job.
Oh yeah. Oh, Sean's here. I can't.
Yeah, Sean's just been fucking chatting it up in the comments thing.
Oh shit! What's up, Sean? I'm sorry.
Like he even made the joke like when I said that Swit's other car was a DeLorean. He made the like, I guess you only drive that from time to time joke, and I was like, damn it, I fucking didn't.
There he is. Okay, I'm sorry. I can see the comments now.
But anyway, show me what you're going to show.
So anyway, yeah. So then the second volume is the New Teen Titans. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking at the New Teen Titans Volume 2, and I'm like, oh shit, I only have up until issue 50. That's kind of, or issue 51 or something. I'm like, that's kind of dumb. And I went and I popped onto eBay and I found like issues like 50 whatever to 60 whatever, and I was like, okay, cool. It was like $25 or whatever. Like they came out to like $1 an issue or something, and I ordered them. And then I, looking at and then I went to the box. And they're already in the box. And I'm like, either eBay has figured out a way to ship them really quickly or I'm an idiot. Well, the database program that I have, it went from being the New Teen Titans to being the New Titans, and it lists them as a separate title. So I have a pile of New Titans books that are going in there for you. So
nice.
like a whole stack of, because I could slap them back on eBay again, but
right,
it's done.
And honestly, here's the thing, man. Like, with very few exceptions, I would rather like share this kind of shit with my daughter than just like hermetically seal it. Obviously, there's things that are like rare enough or valuable enough technically that I'm like, maybe we don't do that. But no, like she got super into Teen Titans because of Teen Titans Go. And I mean, obviously the other shit's not like that, but like she's kind of starting now to branch into a little more of the, like the background of it.
It's got all of the it's the Who is Wonder Girl part. It says part 1 of 4, but it ran 5 parts, which is hilarious. And then it's got the first appearance of Troya, who is just Wonder Girl with a different name. So she'll dig them, she'll dig the stuff. And it's just not. I don't think the first appearance of Troy is a big deal book, but it may be someday if they use it for something. But
Right, one of those where if it's like
who
she becomes
knows,
main
man?
character in a movie.
And like Steve, I don't know if you follow. Yeah, you did. You followed the Ghostbusters comics.
I have all of them on my tablet.
Are you in any of them?
No, I know some people who are.
Well, I know a lot of like rando Ghostbusters got added into it sometimes, so that's why.
Well, are you talking about the stuff that Eric wrote in?
Yeah,
and Dan Schoening.
Yeah.
That's
like,
that's
I
when
know
it
that
really got.
especially I figured with your car, you might have, you know what I mean, like the original even.
No,
before that team started on the book, they weren't very good. They weren't.
No, Eric's a super fan, and Dan got the gig as a dream job because they pitched it to him. Because I don't know if you remember, you ever do Sketch Tavern?
I know what it is. I never did it, but I knew what it.
Yeah, so Sketch Tavern. One of my buddies from college actually put that together, and Dan was on there all the time. And he used to do during Halloween like Ghostbusters, ghosts from the cartoons, and like just do like one-offs of each one the entire month. And he do it every year. And so he pitched that as kind of one of his dream gigs. And then IDW was like got the license and picked it up.
That's
So
badass.
yeah, they added a story and a consistency to it that everything else is kind of like a Ghostbusters story, like Elseworlds.
Right.
Everything else is kind of an Elseworlds.
The stuff before it didn't have the right vibe. It was off. They tried to make it almost more not really a horror comic, but they made it more like the vibe was off. It wasn't fun. It wasn't like, because Ghostbusters is not a horror anything. It's not a horror movie. It's not really, I mean, it's a comedy, but it's not really a straight up it's that wonderful sort of mixture that 80s movies.
Yeah, it's its own sort of
80s movies really had that well. It's like funny when it should be funny, and it's like it's spooky but not scary. It's like kids can watch it and not like get a jump but not have nightmares all night. Shit like that. But
Eric,
once they took over, it was just great.
Eric Burnham has a gift for that. I mean, he's a super fan of that. He likes Beast Wars too. He's a big Beast Wars guy. But he wrote the you can pick it up anywhere. The Tobin Spirit Guide. It's like a red version, and a green version. Yep. Like Eric wrote that too.
Is there a difference in the versions?
No, just
$20. No,
just like,
literally. Yeah, you're not wrong. I got the red version. I'm good. I don't care.
Yeah.
Is the green the more sought after? I think I might have both. I don't even know.
I don't have either of them. Well, my question was going to be like I think it's a rights issue, but something happened where I missed Ghostbusters Year 1, which is like the last thing they did. And it hasn't, like, I ordered the trade paperback on Amazon and it kept getting canceled.
I've never actually read any of the Ghostbusters comics.
They're really fun. They're a lot of fun.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, digitally, I haven't read it digitally either, but like I can't seem to find them anywhere. Like, they're stupid expensive. Like, I don't know if
really?
I think there's a rights issue. I can't remember who picked up the rights. I think Dark Horse.
Oh no, actually, so what happened is IDW lost the rights to them and Transformers both.
Okay.
I think IDW lost it because Afterlife was coming out and things were gearing up. Same thing with and the same thing with Hasbro's got this control thing, not for Transformers, but Hasbro's got this licensing control thing, and so I mean it's the same reason why I'm going on a tangent. Bear with me, but like Transformers Animated,
we've got no agenda, so we tangent away.
Yeah.
Well, like Transformers Animated, it was Cartoon Network and Hasbro, and Derek Wyatt did all the designs. And Cartoon Network did they figured out how to take these organic designs and convert them into vehicles and make them work. That's the reason why, like, you could burn all my Transformers down, and that's the collection I want to keep because the engineering is top notch and they ooze personality. So this is a long way around, but the same thing. IDW did the same thing with the comics, where they introduced new characters, new relationships, new ways to do things. And Hasbro's like, you're our vehicle to sell toys. We have the cartoon, we have the comics, but like, you're putting shit in your comics.
Well, I mean, that's been the Hasbro model since the fucking 80s. I mean,
yeah. So they wanted them to put in and they wanted to put things in the comic in the order of releasing the toys. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like
Well,
we
that
got
was always the G.I. Joe
Aerobot
thing too. Although
Yeah.
they had pure freedom, as long as like that was how we got so many great fucking actual like comic G.I. Joe stories, was because they like Larry Hama and shit. They were like, yeah, do whatever the hell you want, but we're gonna occasionally go, here's a truck that makes a fucking bridge. Put that shit in there so we can sell that toy. And then
That was a real thing, though. They really have bridge
That was a great toy.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, literally, like, you know, they were like, put that motherfucker in there because we want that toy coming out.
I love that toy when I was a
Oh, I
Toll
did.
Booth.
That was a
awesome.
great toy.
Toll Booth had a
My
sledgehammer,
brother got
man.
all the fucking Joes. I got all the Cobras, which tells you exactly what my parents thought. I always had to get the villains, man.
Well,
like-
and there's so far lesser of them. There was,
What are you talking about? You could have 800 fucking Vipers, man.
Oh yeah, but I mean it's the same
You know what
guy.
I'm saying?
See, I
Like-
don't do that. I don't arm.
You can have one Duke. I could have 15 fucking Techno Vipers if I wanted. You know what I mean?
Cloning. You could have 2 Dukes. Evil clone. Evil.
Well,
twin.
I also, once my brother moved out, I did start buying like my favorite ones, which I'm a Falcon guy. Go figure.
I thought you'd be more of a shipwreck guy.
Shipwreck's dope as shit too, but he was like, my brother had him. I had to get like, I got on right around G.I. Joe the movie. I was allowed to have fucking.
My favorites were Tunnel
but I
Rat
also-
and Outback.
Yeah, Outback's fucking cool shit.
Outback was awesome.
I got all the, like the Night Force and the Tiger Horse and shit. And like, honestly though, it's so obscure, but my favorite one, aside from the Alley Viper, which was just so over the top ridiculous,
Was that the
bright
purple?
orange and shit,
Alley Viper was purple and stuff, right?
bright orange with blue.
Oh, who was the purple one? Night Viper, I think. Anyway, go ahead. Okay.
Anyway, so that one was cool just because he had a fucking badass shield, right?
Mm.
But my favorite of all the fucking action figures that I ever got of the G.I. Joe ones was the drug dealer guy. When they went into that,
with the
like,
hat, yeah,
with the fucking hat and the sawed off shotgun.
yeah,
I was like, that is the fucking coolest shit ever.
yeah. That
Like,
was
so
when I was
out of-
out of them. I was out of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that your
fucking thing?
This is-
I hated when they went with the Eco Force shit. Like that's
His
when
name
they
was
kind
like
of like
Headman or something, wasn't it? Like
yeah, Headman, yeah.
That's
Headman and Chuckles.
your Patronus charm. You're like
Yeah.
woof, and it's just like drug dealer shotgun.
The last, I bought.
Also,
2
yeah, Chuckles was one of my favorites too,
Chuckles
man.
was cool, man.
Speaking of, that was one of the
Undercover guy.
best comic runs I've ever read. Was the
with the
G.I. Joe
Howard
Cobra
Chaykin
with him
cover.
and Jinx.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
anyway,
The,
I just totally jumped in on the middle of fucking.
No, man, but that's cool. That's what this is about. The last 2 GI Joe action figures I bought before, like I discovered girls and shit, were Shockwave, the SWAT guy,
Yeah, with the blue and
and
the fucking.
Budo, the samurai dude. Like they
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
samurai.
Yeah.
Like he was awesome. You know.
Well, that was all that Ninja Force shit.
Well,
so
that
I
was-
had,
yeah, that was
Slice
before,
and
like,
Dice
Slice
and
and
yeah, all of
Dice
them, man.
and-
I was
yeah, you know.
super into that shit. I used to
And-
make people who weren't ninjas, like fucking Firefly Ninja.
Well, they used to do that in the comic. Everybody went to ninja high school together. You know,
Mhm.
you know, Zartan and Firefly. Anybody who had one of those masks.
And me.
Yeah, you know, yeah. Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes and
See,
all.
I went to Ninja High School. I got the
That's right.
Arashikaji fucking
That's
tattoo.
right. That's really funny. Yeah, I read the comic up until. I'm trying to think of what the last issue I read was, and I want to say it was probably. I mean, I could just look on a database, but I quit reading after a while. I quit reading when it was like Snake Eyes, like GI Joe featuring Snake Eyes or whatever. I want to look now. And I wish I could get those back again, but they're still like you and I talked about this. Like the prices of those back issues are just ridiculous.
Well,
Like-
okay, they're ridiculous, especially because, like, I mean, I've had this conversation in every shop that I've bought back issues from them. Everybody, because, you know, people come in with their fucking shit collections and think they're about to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Everybody who finds some old G.I. Joe fucking issues, like sub 50, whatever issue, thinks they're sitting on fucking $1 million comic. And even like the one that John got me, the first appearance of fucking Storm Shadow, even that one, I mean, on average, $50 to $75. That's what you're looking at, you know?
Yeah.
Unless it's one that's like pressed in fucking 9.8 and autographed by fucking, you know, everybody who touched the book. In which case you're looking at, you know, maybe $500. I mean, it's still not crazy, you know? But fucking everything else, like including the first issue and second, which introduces the entire team almost,
Yeah.
is like a couple of dollars, right? Like best. But everyone comes in and like, you know, you see them on eBay and they're like issue 2, fucking $98 or $1,500 for the first 20. And I'm like, what the fuck do you think you're sitting on, man? Because like, you know, it's crap. And especially when they're like half torn covers and shit, you're like, seriously? You think, okay, cool story, buddy. So I've gotten most of mine out of actual like back issue bins and stuff where they're pretty cheap. Or I'll just fucking see somebody that like found them in a garage sale and I'm like, how much do you want for those? Like they're like, I spent $5 for this 200 comics and I got 20 GI Joes. I'm like, yeah, how much you want for the GI? How about I just pay for what you paid the whole thing, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking at like GI Joe number 132 is like $18 as a very fine book. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
This is on My Comic Shop, which has the best prices of back issues that I've ever. So
yeah, it does.
They're amazing. I think okay, so it looks like 120 was the last issue I had. It's the last issue I recognized the cover of. So I think I got up to 120. And so like I got past the whole like they had Battle Force 2000 in for like an issue and then they all got murdered.
Right.
You know, and then that whole thing with like, you know, Destro going gold headed and all that crap. But yeah, that's as far as I can remember. But yeah, that book, I mean, down in the like the 50s, it was really good. Like issue 50, like the whole Battle of Springfield thing, that was awesome. Right. Even Serpentor, they managed to make kind of cool. Even though
the other cool thing that I fucking still to this day don't believe that they just like let them do was the whole like Saw Viper fucking just mowing down actual characters.
Yeah.
Like I Jesus really, Christ, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they never did a collected edition of these things, or if they did, they're like, you know, super expensive. I don't know. I can't seem to find them. You'd think they'd have some kind of omnibus going on or something, but
actually, you know what? They fucking did recently. I saw that they are collecting some, I don't know, like some of their original shit or whatever because they've got the license back.
Who did?
Like fucking Marvel started carrying like running shit again. Like,
oh really? Wow.
So all of a sudden, you know. Yeah.
The I've been
fuck that, Sean. $6 million to like I would first of all I'd have to drink it, but and then smash the decanter right on the ground. Fucking more.
What did you say?
About like whiskeys, expensive whiskeys.
6 million US.
Shit better be yen.
He's Delma Trintis is one of the world's most expensive whiskeys at $250,000 for a bottle. No, I'm sorry, man. I'm not going to pay more for a bottle of whiskey than my house. I don't even like whiskey.
I don't either.
Whiskey tastes like burning. I get no joy out of it. You know, give me a good chocolate choo-choo any day. Give me a good White Russian. Not literally a White. I mean, you know, she's cute. That's fine. You know. I like White Russians, but yeah. So these
not black Russians, huh? I see how you are.
I do highly recommend the GI Joe comics featuring.
Well, and that's why I was saying like kind of sub 50 when it was good. Like everybody who has any issue of that acts like they've got like, you know, a gold mine. Like they're gonna fucking put their kids through college off of one issue. I got number 2. And it's only missing 3 pages and the back cover's ripped off.
Yeah. My nephew used the back cover to wipe his ass when we were camping, you know, but most expensive bottle is worth around. I don't know what that crazy symbol is, Sean. What is that in real money?
$1 trillion.
What is that? 700 E's?
Is that euro?
I know he's in Ireland.
Pound.
I think it's
Sterling.
a pound. That's
no,
heavy.
that's
not
a
heavy bottle of
No, that's not pound.
That's what I'm saying. I think is that
it's
the
a
euro?
It's euro.
It's euro. Yeah, because the pound's that little
Pound
L.
is British and he's not British. He's Irish.
Right.
Well, all Irish are British.
Adam's not here to make those jokes, and I'm not going to do it to you.
Yeah.
I'm not doing $725.
Adam hasn't been fucking coming in a while. It's fucking like, come on, man. What's going on there, Adam?
Yeah.
He hasn't been on the podcast either. I'm just kidding.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh.
I'm just kidding.
He did. I guess I was gonna give him props for doing his like live, improv
awesome.
show.
But I saw the photos of his, and I so wish I could have been there for him.
Yeah, me too.
Like it was improv show.
And
I'm
here's
just
the
like,
thing, man. He said that he was like that he promoted it on his Facebook. I went back and looked, man. I went all the way back to fucking early February. There wasn't a mention one. Because if I'd have seen it, I'd have gone.
Well, if we'd ask him about his interests and hobbies outside of the things we normally talk to him about, he probably would have done it. So the onus is on us.
If I lived in Florida,
I don't actually talk to him, you know, at all.
If I lived in Florida, I would have gone. Like, I would have absolutely gone to that. And I hate improv things. Hate them.
Yeah.
I would have gone for him though.
Exactly.
You know, I would have gone
because he's our little guy.
Things annoy the shit out of me. Like they really do. Like they used to have Friday night improvs here at Pitt, and my friends were like, "Let's go to Friday night improvs," and we would go, and it was like, you know, and every time I went, I was like, "This is so fucking dumb. This is so." They're like, "I need an occupation," and somebody's like, you know, professional cow milker, and they're like, "Arr, arr, 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 arr." It's just on the moon, arr, arr, arr. You know. And I think I'm just jealous because I never got called up. Because I got called up once and I cursed way too much. They were just like, it wasn't like Michael Scott though, where I wanted to murder everybody.
Everything's guns, dude. Every time Adam talks about his fucking improv shit, I always make the Michael Scott jokes.
But I imagine he would be really good at it because he's got a really good speaking. Like his voice is really good. He's got a really good voice for you know, all of that kind of stuff. His videos, like he's very well spoken and very like I like that guy. I wish he knew, you know, I wish he seems to be.
I mean, you never say it to his face, of course.
I not to his face because I'm never there.
I do.
Like I'd never tell him this, but he's the greatest dude ever, and
you guys are all the greatest dudes ever. You know, like it's you know.
See, I don't mind. Like we don't even have to have like we're talking about an episode of a show. Like I just like coming on weekly and shooting the shit with you.
Yeah, that's well. Cheryl's like, what's your subject tonight? And I'm like, we don't. This one doesn't really. She gets mixed up the two. I do two of them. Okay, look.
Yeah, I know.
Occasionally, I do another podcast.
Yeah,
once in a while. When they need a you know, another voice.
When they need a sexier Josh Gad. You should start stealing roles from him, man.
It's weird.
He's really let himself go, and you've tightened up, so you should fucking take his roles, man.
It's weird. I think my face is getting fat again, but I'm losing weight. It doesn't make any sense to me. I guess it's supposed.
No.
I guess. No. Okay.
No,
you're not.
You're right. I was sitting there going, you know, I used to be able to pass for like Kevin Smith. Now I just pass for fat Kevin Smith.
Well, he looks weird skinny though. Because he had that heart attack and he went all like.
And he's gone even more. Now he's vegan too.
Like loose skin, skinny and shit.
He's
like fucking Muse. I'm glad you kicked the dope, but your fucking teeth are killing me, bro. Like he's got that meth mouth where his
because he lost all of it. He had meth mouth, yeah.
But like they give him like the too small. Everyone always gets it like just slightly too small. So like
well, he looks like my grandma. Like actually, he looks like my grandma. Like he's got the grandma teeth. You know?
Yeah. Well, when he smiles, it's like bright white. It's like looking at a headlight of a car because it's just like shing. And you're like, I saw it again.
I know that's I see.
He's a good dude.
He is. He's fucking awesome.
You know what was funny is that they were filming not Clerks. They were filming Dogma up here, and they no shit. And this isn't me making shit up either. They shot the scene where. They are in the bar and they turn the water to holy water and burn the kid's face in the holy bartender scene downstairs from my apartment. So they were there for a week and like met everybody. Talked to Chris Rock about playing Jimmy Olsen because he was supposed to be Jimmy Olsen in the Superman movie the next year. That never happened. Met Dwight Yulee, met all of those guys because they all hung out. Like Salma Hayek is gorgeous and short, and Linda Fiorentino is a bitch. But I'm
not even gonna ask if it happened. I'm just gonna in my world, in my version, you bang Salma Hayek.
No, man.
No, I don't
Salma Hayek. So I sketched her in a sketchbook, and she was gonna autograph it, but she said, "I'll be right back. I have to pee." And she ran up the thing, and I'm like, Salma Hayek just told me she had to pee because Desperado had been out, so she was, we knew who she was, and I think From Dusk Till Dawn was out too by then. I think
she's still so fucking hot, dude.
She's gorgeous. So and she's really short. So she came running back and autographed the thing. But like Muse was there, like all the time, and he was. When you read the stories about him and this girl from Pittsburgh, I don't know if you read all that story about his thing. The girl from Pittsburgh, she worked at Ides, which was a comic book shop, and he and she had a little bit of a romance, and he got her really into. He got like she would feed his addiction and he got her addicted. So they had a really bad situation. She ended up going to New Jersey with him and there's all this other shit. I think she became like a born again Christian or something. She's not even on, and I can't remember what her name was. It was like Megan or something. But so anyway, anytime Muse was there, like he was super cool. Like he didn't seem like he was on anything. He was absolutely like funny and pleasant and charming and present and all of these things. And I just hated Dogma. The movie, I thought it was terrible. Like everybody loves Dogma. I don't like Dogma.
Really? I don't know. I thought it was all right.
Somehow or another, he managed to get a bad performance out of everybody, and that doesn't make any sense to me because it just doesn't make any sense to me. But everybody was really nice. They were super super cool.
Well, yeah, that's my experience with the whole crew. Like so the cruise thing. I was bringing a bunch of the Clerks guys on. And fucking the guy ended up canceling all the fucking celebrities. Like, whatever, I'm not even get into that shit. But leading up to it at cons and shit, I would just go hang out with the guys and, we'd be bullshitting. And they were all like super fucking
What's his name? Dante's super cool, man.
Brian O'Halloran. He's fucking
great dude.
He's one of the coolest dudes around. Like
he's so laid back.
I met him
crazy
once.
approachable and shit.
Yeah. I don't know if he's
like he was trying to leave like when we fucking were hanging out with him, like they were all like well after this thing, and anybody walking by like wanted to come by, he was just like, all right, and break back out his shit and sign stuff for people for free. Like he was just a really chill guy. He was like they got brought into that whole like fan expo fucking show thing,
exclusive stuff.
So they're like contracted for every fucking show, and it was like the next weekend. He was like, man, I'm not going to email you this contract shit this next weekend because it's literally the first I'm going to have off in like fucking 12 weeks and then immediately into more again. Like I will never see my family if I fucking, And I was like, no, I get that, bro. It's fine. Like, but even living like slaves on the road like that, he was still like not agitated at the end of the show. You know what I mean? They got fucking COVID.
When they were shooting, my friend Eli Livingston that I went to college with, this was after I had been to art school. This is 96, maybe something like that. He worked on the Shit Monster. And he was there with
the Golgothan.
Yeah. So he worked on that. Eli worked on that. The kid who played the evil hockey player kids. One of them's name is Garrett, like really good guy. So because I had to walk through to get up to my apartment, you get to know these people. And I was hanging out and loitering and watching and being quiet. They're like, you can hang out here all you want, just be quiet when we say be quiet and don't. I doubled Kevin Smith once just for lighting. Like I got to wear the coat and the hat.
You should put that on your IMDb, man.
Oh no, man. Like I'm not in the credits or anything. They were just like, because the other guy was missing. His official guy was gone and he was shooting. So he's like, you're about the size. You want to wear the coat? And I was like,
that was for Dogma. I'm putting it on there for you. You're going to have it.
No, man. But so, I mean, sure. Why not? You have all this. So we're watching the night of they were shooting there the night of the Seinfeld finale. And Eli and the Gareth kid came upstairs. We're running upstairs to my apartment to watch this season finale. And Jason Mewes is walking up. And he's like, where are you guys going? And they're like, oh, we're going up to his apartment to watch the Seinfeld finale. And he was like, oh, shit, that's tonight. And he comes running up the stairs. Not Jason Mewes, Jason Lee. And
Jason Lee started doing cons recently, too. And that's weird because he was like,
I wonder if he remembers that. Because he's like, he didn't stay very long. He stayed about 20 minutes or something. But he hung out and I'm like, holy shit. And there were no cell phones or anything really back then. So I'm just like sitting there like, Jason Lee's sitting in my living room watching Seinfeld. He's all done up with the little horns and everything, and he's sitting there watching Seinfeld. And he's like, I gotta go. He's like, thanks. Goes walking outside.
I've never actually met him, so I don't know
nice guy,
if he's
man.
cool. Yeah,
nice guy. Yeah.
I mean, you would think it would be coming from being like skate culture.
The girl from the Ring movies is behind your couch.
I know. I'm trying not to engage.
She's like.
So all right. So weirdly, like. I know Kevin Smith went on like health nut, whatever, vegan and all that bullshit, and like got way too thin and weird looking now. But like I don't know if you've seen the latest thing. Like it's been a couple weeks maybe now, where the guy who made his entire career on basically like stoner shit and like has like fucking weed strains that he sells specifically. He's like, I'm done with weed. I mean, if you want to smoke it, that's good for you, but it's fucking ruining everything for me. And you know,
Who said that? He did?
yeah, where he was like,
he
I
made a
wasn't
video.
present, and it's all fucking made life garbage.
Well,
Like,
he
he's
was.
like-
I mean,
But no,
he
he went shift like anti-weed, you know?
yeah.
Well, he's like, you do you. That's all. He's like, it's not for me.
Right,
anymore.
right. But he was like, it's fucking, like, in my opinion, it's trash, you know?
Well,
like, all right,
I
calm
just
down.
I don't understand why.
There's got to be a happy medium.
I don't
man.
know
Like, you
where-
don't want to be stoned out of your fucking head all the time, but like,
Well, but that's like anybody. That's like
Yeah.
anybody who gives up an addiction. They become very, very powerful about it. Like anybody. Not that weed isn't really addictive. I don't
Yeah.
think, but like like when I quit smoking, like now I can't even smell it without getting
oh,
like
same,
that.
dude. Like I said,
Yeah.
I smoked a shitload before, and now like my mom does, and you know,
Yeah.
if I can smell it coming up to your house, I'm like, fucking, hey, that's got to call that down, you know? But yeah, I get you.
There, I just don't know. Like, what started pissing me off about Kevin Smith was that suddenly, I think we're so like nerds. You know, we're so desperate to be, at least at one point in time, we were so desperate to be accepted that anybody who actually does become something that expresses a love of this kind of stuff that we love becomes these gurus of this stuff. Like, when did Kevin Smith and why did Kevin Smith become the end all be all opinion of Batman when he says stupid shit like he kills the Joker at the end of Killing Joke? No, he doesn't. No, he
Right.
doesn't. It's not in the script. It's not. Alan Moore has said no, he doesn't. I don't care.
Well,
if Grant
you
Mor-
also, for a while there, why was it that everybody, like, the only thing people thought was fucking, like, good in pop culture coming out was if Kevin Smith fucking cried about it on a fucking YouTube
if
video.
Kevin Smith Kevin Smith's run of Green Arrow is awesome. Kevin Smith's run of
Yeah.
Daredevil is fabulous. Kevin Smith's Batman work is garbage. And like he's not gonna like hit a home run every single time, and nobody should expect.
Right,
And
well,
nobody
you know,
should. Like nobody does. I mean, that's not against him. That's just nobody does hit a home run every single time. But like we grasp onto things. Like, you remember years ago where it was like anytime they announced a movie was coming out, like a comic book related movie, they wanted to cast Bruce Campbell as the guy. Like, Bruce Campbell should be Green Lantern. Bruce Campbell should
I don't
be
remember
Batman.
all that.
Bruce Campbell shouldn't be anybody but who. But
I know there was a
who he
lot of that
plays.
with, like, Nathan Fillion where they were like,
Yeah, like
who should
Nathan
be-
Fillion was
yeah.
the next one because he was in Firefly. So Nathan Fillion should be this, and Nathan Fillion should be that, and Nathan Fillion should be this, and Nathan Fillion, you know, and you know, it's just it happens so much. Like, there are people in the world who love Vin Diesel just because he's into D&D and comics. He's a horrible actor. Like, he seems like a
Yeah.
really super nice guy, and that sucks to have.
Although
to
I
say
hear the
that.
guy that drove for him in Fast and the Furious 1 and 2 is awesome.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. That's right. I don't know what to believe, man. I don't. But like, he's terrible, man. Like, he's good as Groot because he says one thing over and over, you know,
Yeah.
with different inflections. I am Groot. I am
Well,
Groot.
also, you know,
it's like 30 minutes of
you
work.
bring
for
up the
it.
D&D thing, and that actually is a thing that I have opinions on, man. Like, there's a lot of motherfuckers who play D&D, I bet, in Hollywood, right? Or
Joe
like World of
Manganiello.
Warcraft or whatever, right?
Joe Manganiello.
But-
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? Him and fucking Vin Diesel, because they're all like jacked up, muscly guys. It's a fucking story somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like if you're not a fucking fat basement dwelling fucking Josh Gad lookalike or whatever, you're not, you know, you're not supposed to be.
I mean, you know, if we knew one of those, like,
Right.
you know,
Those are the people who are supposed to play Dungeons and Dragons, not
I
guys
don't,
who have
though.
been to a gym.
I'm terrible
or-
at role playing games. I can't.
Or like it was such a big shock that like fucking Henry Cavill fucking was playing World of Warcraft when he found that he got, you know, Superman.
Right.
And it's like, you know, that adults like even the kids that were those
Yeah.
fucking nerds, like some of them grew up to be not, and vice versa. But also, like, anybody can like things. Like, you shouldn't not be allowed to fucking play Dungeons and Dragons because you've got
Yeah.
like biceps.
Like you're like Manganiello plays Dungeons and Dragons, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, does he really? He plays D&D? That's so weird because you didn't think he
He's
would."
got time.
And then they're like,
between
"Oh,
fucking Sophie.
yeah, what's his? Oh, you know who else plays Dungeons and Dragons? The kid who played Wesley Crusher on Next Gen."
Right.
They're like, "Yeah."
Will
But anyway, Joe
Wheaton.
Manganiello, yeah, right. Will
Right.
Wheaton, you're like, of course he does. But like, but like
Like,
Manganiello,
right,
they're like,
right. But also,
he can't
Vin
play
Diesel,
Dungeons and Dragons. He's married to a woman with huge tits. You know,
right?
it's like yeah, he does. You know, he does. Sometimes nerds get beautiful.
Yeah, that's
you
what I
know,
mean. It's
We've
like,
all done pretty okay for ourselves in the
have,
lady
actually,
in
this
the
group,
ladies
yeah.
department. So if Jim Parsons was on steroids, it would be all headlines. Well, if I'd love to see Jim Parsons on on steroids, like this totally ripped Southern gay dude. That would be awesome. Like, you know, because Jim, it's funny too because like people get so associated with their. I drank an energy drink. I don't know if anybody can tell.
Yeah, that's fine.
But people get so associated with the roles they play, and when you find out that they're nothing like that, you know,
Right.
who's the Wallowitz, the guy who plays Wallowitz on.
Yeah.
Everybody
Big Bang.
assumes like he knows what he's taught, like he's a physicist and super smart, and he's like, I don't know any of this stuff. I read the script. I don't, you know,
Yeah.
I'm married to a
Well,
beautiful
what's
lady.
funny is they actually came out after a while, and they were like, you know,
Hmm.
because they're always dismissive of the
Yeah.
you know, females or whatever, but they were like, who's like the actual smartest fucking person in general on there.
Yeah,
And
might
for a
be
while
Alec.
before they brought fucking
Yeah.
Blossom or whatever, it was fucking Penny.
Yeah,
They were
Yeah.
like, she actually knows way more about this shit than
Yeah.
any of us.
yeah. And then Mine Bialik has an actual, like, she's an actual scientist,
Right,
like, She's like, you know, which is,
But also apparently, like, you know, she was like Kaylee Cuoco was like the nerdiest one of the group too. They were all
Yeah.
like, we're not into any of this shit. Like,
yeah,
we're not into these collectibles. And then, I mean, obviously, like, you got like Johnny Galecki, who's, you know, fucking constantly trying to prove he's cool because he's always
Yeah.
played like a fucking nerd. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So like, he would never do that. But I also, I think the whole like Jim Parsons on steroids comment is, it made me think. It is news when the other way goes too, because I mean, people still won't shut the fuck up. For instance, about like Todd McFarlane's fucking baseball. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
wait, he's into sports?
Yeah,
Fuck
what?
that guy.
What? But he's a comic book artist. He
Yeah,
can't.
he's
like,
a fucking nerd. Fuck that guy. He can't be into sports.
he's not a nerd. He's barely a comic book creator anymore.
He's barely a guy. Come on.
He's not even a real person. He's just a bunch of he's a bunch of kids in a human suit. You know, this is the latest issue.
3
of
kids
Spawn.
and 14 squirrels in a trench coat.
In this issue of Spawn, I shouldn't make fun of a lisp. He does have a lisp though, but I was never into like Adam. Adam would be sending me an of course text right now because anytime I mention that I don't like anything 90s related, he's like, of course not. It's a vibe, man. It's a style I wasn't into. I just didn't dig the early.
You
image
didn't like
crap.
everything being fueled by Mountain Dew and extreme?
No. I didn't like every early image book was just
extreme.
every early image book was just a Marvel book written badly. That's all they, you know, Youngblood and it was X-Men and like they're all, you know,
Wildcats was X-Men.
Wildcats
Yeah,
was X-Men,
Wildcats.
Youngblood was Justice League, you know, and it,
Yeah.
you know, they're all
Well,
just
it's
written.
literally because they still wanted to draw the shit they wanted. They just wanted the freedom. So of course they just continued drawing the shit they wanted.
Yeah, they did. But I mean, it's night and day. Like Image as a publisher is like absolutely night and day now. Like they still, well, I get it now. Spawn is a thing again. Spawn never went away.
Really?
But all of those,
No.
yeah, all of the Spawn never went away. They put out new issues of Spawn. maybe
Speaking
not
of sitting on a
monthly.
gold mine, I have 3 copies of the first issue of Spawn. If you guys want to spend $1 million,
Yeah, I don't know if that first issue is worth. The later issues are worth more. Apparently,
know.
like the 300s and stuff are worth a shit ton because they
like I also have the original run of Preacher, which was a brilliantly amazing fucking
yeah.
before
I don't.
before
I have a lot
Ennis
of
went
stuff-
way off the fucking shock rail. You know,
Yeah. That's why I'm not into him. I'm not into him really because that's kind of his. Like he did a run of Hellblazer that I dig and stuff, but I mean
he also did an entire fucking like miniseries where they were, hunting down Hitler's missing testicle.
Yeah.
that's-
Whatever you're into. Yeah. I don't know. I got a lot of
I
comments. that
love
nobody
Preacher,
really
but I didn't mind like some of his mainstream, like his Punisher shit and all that. You know what I mean? But honestly, like then he went into like Crossed, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this.
Yeah. I've been reading I got the Snyder. I went a little omnibus crazy. And
Like
I'm gonna admit it. I went a little omnibus crazy and I got like Captain America, three Captain America omnibuses and like the Batman Snyder ones, and my credit cards were screaming at me, so I kind of eased off. But I'm reading the I'm in the it's Death of the Family. This
Right.
thing
Yeah.
where like Joker comes back and he has his face stapled on or some shit. I guess somebody cut his face off or whatever. I missed all that, but
They had a Halloween mask for that.
yeah.
I have it.
Like I read
because it came with the trade.
Yeah, I missed all of that. I wasn't reading. I haven't read Batman on the regular since Nightfall because I thought it was just stupid. Yeah, and the main storyline of the Death of the Family in the Batman book is really cool. Snyder's Batman I really dig. Greg Capullo, who did Spawn for a while. So I read that he was doing Batman, and I'm like, man, I don't like that Spawn vibe. But he sort of backs off on the Spawnness of it. It doesn't. It's not the same style. But so there's a trade that was like all of the in between shit, like all of the Batgirl issues and all of the night.
Okay.
And I've been reading it, and it's just not great, man. I'm like really having a hard time getting through it, and it's just not. But the primary storyline is real good, and I'm very excited to keep moving with that. But there was some really great Batman shit that I missed out on. Like I like for some reason, like lately, it's been cool to hate on Batman. I don't know why. I think it's because he's a rich guy, and that's the logic is that use. Why doesn't the character use his extreme wealth in another way to help people?
Right. Instead of beating up on fucking
he's a millionaire fascist or
it's
whatever.
Therapy.
Yeah.
Well, his therapy unfortunately is not great for the fucking other people with mental deficiencies around Gotham who also happen to be poor.
Yeah. I still dig Batman.
You just get some rich straight white guy going out and just wailing on fucking people with like mental illnesses.
Yeah, billionaire. That's right. He is a billionaire.
Yeah.
That's right. Sean's correct. He's I said millionaire, and like
what? Well, not currently. He lives in a brownstone right now. And
he lost all his money.
Yep. So
lost all his dough.
See, he could have used it to better Gotham, and then he'd.
Yeah. I dig a lot.
Now
of
he'd be bored.
They had Alfred was a millionaire. I don't know if you saw that story.
I did not. That's awesome.
Yeah. So like Alfred died. When Alfred died, in his will, he left it to Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
And he's like a millionaire.
Yeah.
Because like, what does he got to spend money on, really?
Well, that's
you know
true.
What I mean? I mean, he's got food. He's got housing. He has no utilities or bills. Yeah, and I'm sure he was overly paid well to keep secrets. So yeah, he was a millionaire, and he gave all the money to Grayson.
He paid whatever he wanted to be because Bruce doesn't fucking keep track of that shit.
Probably
He's just like, pay yourself whatever you pay yourself. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Fair.
It's I know that's a controversial thing, killing off Alfred.
Let's be honest, man. If you were Bruce Wayne, could you affix a dollar value to pay Alfred, who is effectively your father, to be your dad? Like, could you have set a fucking salary for your dad to be your dad?
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would never be able to. I'd be like, I don't know what's fair. $1 million a week? Like, how much can I afford to give you and not like spend everything?
Here's a blank check with 6 zeros.
Yeah, put whatever number you feel like every year.
Pay yourself what. He's like, pay yourself what you think you deserve.
What would I have paid my father to be my father? I don't know. It's like my dad would have gotten minimum wage. Like
no, but I feel like
you get paid for the amount of work you put into it. He was there.
Right,
he was
right.
He was a daddy.
If we're talking like bio dads or whatever, mine I would only had to pay till I was 9 when he was murdered. So,
always a joy here at our show. My dad was
my stepfather would have owed me money.
My father was the dad on Goldberg's. Like that was
right. Murray just sitting on his ass, going I don't care.
Yelling at us in like occasional
like stop
moments.
fucking yelling and being children.
Yeah,
and then like, hey dad, can I go smoke crack with the kid next door? Ask your fucking mother.
Whatever you want to do, I don't care.
Yeah, just fucking keep it down though.
Yeah, I mean there were occasional moments where it was like, okay, dad loves me,
Right.
He's like, I'm proud. It was like whenever I did, won any kind of acclaim for something. Oh, you won a poster contest.
You bring a hot chick home and he's high-fiving you like, I'm proud of you, son.
I didn't bring a hot chick home until
Cheryl. Just be safe and say
no. She knows I dated people before her.
You're like, they were all fat ugmos,
well,
man.
he died. I mean, my father died when he was 49. So
it's like, no, he's he brought the fucking pain. He had that.
Yeah.
I've seen some of his roster lists now.
He was slinging hot puss at the cons.
A couple times. It is true. I don't know what I did. I don't know how I managed it. It was all talk and you know, but yeah, the I can't remember if Corey met my dad or not. I don't remember. I think maybe.
So
But
if any of the chicks who were before,
I didn't
this-
really.
this
You know,
guy in
prior
person,
to,
they're like,
I
great,
didn't
man.
have a girlfriend in high school. I had crushes on girls in high school who are still on my friends list and stuff, and they're super cool.
You used to write poems for him and shit, didn't you?
I did, man. I was that
Fuck,
dude. I was the
I knew it. I
mixtape
knew
guy.
it.
I was the mixtape guy.
I could fucking tell.
Quoting Maria Rainier Wilkie and yeah, all that shit.
I could tell. Oh man.
And then I like only had like two, like I had a girlfriend for like 2 weeks in art school. I met this girl named Maria and dated her for about 4 months, and then she left from school, and that was the end of that. I didn't really have a long-term girlfriend until I was like 21 or 22, and that was Corey, and that was about 4 years, you know. And we were engaged, and then well, Corey and I were engaged, and we were going to get married in July of '96, and then she had this crazy idea. I think I'm going to fuck my chiropractor, and that you know, for me personally, I wasn't really into that idea. So
well, sometimes, you know, when it comes to the spine, right? Like the only way to straighten it out right is to insert from the back.
I understand it was for medical purposes. I get
right.
it. Like actually, you know, she ended up marrying that guy, and she has kids and all that.
You know,
that's
how I'm not even mad at my ex. Like my son's. Like I mean, I'm mad at her for taking my fucking son for like 20 years. But
yeah,
like beyond that, literally, like she married the guy that she was fucking around with. Like it kind of means it. It feels like that
Steve
was
got
that
married
thing
when he was
supposed
like
to happen.
Steve got married when he was like 14. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I was going to say. He hasn't had a lot of long-term.
Anytime he mentions that, I totally
forgot
that, and I'm like,
I got married at
9.
I was 21.
That's
I was
young, dude. That's
fucking Swit's been married, like been dating his fucking current wife since they were in kindergarten together.
Yeah, we got engaged right after she turned 18 and before I turned 21, and then we were married after I turned 21. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing to me because
that was 94? No, 98. No, 98 we got.
Did you say you had been previously married?
Me?
Yeah.
That's
my ex-wife.
Oh, that one was when you were like 8, like almost 21?
Yeah, I met her when I was a senior in high school.
How old were you when you married Steph?
We actually, our first date anniversary is 20 years this October.
Okay.
So like our
I know
first
it's been
date,
a fucking grip, dude. Like
no, I would have been 26, and Steph was 20, and I was 26 on our first date.
So literally since like 18, well, like yeah, you've been pretty much in the same 2 relationships.
Wow.
I mean,
I have
there may have been something in between.
No, I got dumped 13 consecutive times from my first girlfriend to my ex-wife, and I got dumped by everybody from my ex-wife to Steph.
Well, that's because you got that like you don't give up. You know, the only way to get out of the fucking relationship with old Swit here is if you fucking you got to send him packing. You could literally be like the most horrendous piece of shit to him, apparently, and he'd just be like, I deserve it.
Yeah, Cheryl and I met when she was engaged to somebody else, and I went to their wedding, and I like loved her from the moment I met her. And,
everybody.
And that didn't work out.
Somebody when I met him.
That was like a really brief kind of thing. It didn't work out for them and whatever. And then she was never single, and I was never single. But when she and I split up for a while, I started doing the dating thing, and I just like she dated people, and she had like a nice time dating people and whatever, and successful relationships for like a year or two or whatever it was. And meanwhile, I'm like, dated a girl who threw a dildo at my face.
Like, I hooked up with like 3 people, and you're like, yeah, me too. 3 people plus or minus 28. You know.
Do you have a telemarketer?
Mikey was just out there killing it, just running through chicks.
We have had telemarketers, not in a while, but yeah, telemarketers have called. Actually, yeah, telemarketers haven't called in a while here. I think I'm on a no-call list.
No, I have my phone calls all scanned, all screened.
Yeah.
Which is now a problem because before it was like phone calls from everywhere but Florida were all blocked. But now I get calls from everybody on campus who works on campus who has phone numbers from everywhere, and they're not on my phone. So I got our copy shop on campus is calling me. It's a 412 Pittsburgh number, and I'm like, I don't know you. And
Are you're at Pitt, right? You're at Pitt.
Yeah, I'm right above the Pit Shop.
Okay.
You know where the Pit Shop is on Forbes?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
My window is like I'm right above the Pit Shop.
So like 7-Eleven, like by the 7, or it used to be a 7-Eleven. I don't know if it is anymore, but there was a 7-Eleven down there.
There's a Forbes Street Market, so it's Pit Shop, stairs, UPS, Forbes Street Market.
Okay, yeah, that used to be a 7-Eleven years ago.
Yeah,
and
so
then and then the statue of the lion is somewhere down there. Yeah.
That's at the end of Forbes, across from the cathedral.
Does the guy still sell T-shirts and stuff there?
I grabbed a St. Patrick's Day shirt from him last week. Yeah. Cheap.
The one guy, I mean, years ago there was a young guy that used to work there, and he's actually a big comic book person. Like, and he used to buy like tons and tons of comics from Ides and stuff like that. I don't know if he still works, because when I worked at Kinko's, we used to print up his. I don't know if that's even still there. FedEx Kinko's down the street there.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
that's a nice area though. Like you're like within walking distance of like Phantom and Phantom of the Attic is have you been?
Phantom of the Attic is about a 6 to 8 minute walk.
Yeah,
because you got to go behind the Cathedral Learning and then down there.
Yeah.
So if you haven't been to Pittsburgh, Chris, I have
not.
So Carnegie's got the frickin' Cathedral Learning, which is the tallest building in the area. But across from it is the Carnegie Museum of Natural History and the library and everything else. And the corner of it.
Well, you guys will have to, if I can get out that way, you'll have to take me and do some of these like touristy kind of things. And
yeah, it's a nice town, man. It's not too bad.
So you guys basically live like on either side of Pittsburgh from each other, right?
No, Mikey lives like almost 45 minutes to an hour away. And
from him.
But that's, isn't like Pittsburgh between you guys?
Yes.
No. Well, yeah, I guess technically.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like you lived about equal distance on either side of it.
I'm like 5 minutes from Pittsburgh. Mikey's like 15 minutes from. Yeah, well, like a third of the driving to Mikey's is getting off the highway and hitting all those really slow ass back roads.
Yeah, I love how you've fully embraced the leaving Florida of it all, because like it's almost like in the UK where you hear people talk about like, oh, I haven't seen my dad in fucking 15 years because the son of a bitch lives 45 minutes away, and like that's just your commute to work here. You know?
Yeah.
Like
but
everywhere else, it's so weird to hear though. Like where you're like, yeah, oh no, Mikey lives fucking crazy far. He's 45 minutes away, you know? And I'm like, motherfucker, that's like I'm 15 minutes from my daughter's school, and it's
but you can fall asleep and drive in a straight line there, and yours minutes equal miles, whereas here minutes don't equal miles, and it's like you're not just like Florida, the drive's easy. I want to go to fucking Disney. It's an hour and a half away, but it's a straight shot all the way down frickin' like the highway and then I-4. But here you're like an active driver, like with fucking stop signs, four ways and
like,
shit.
Right, 45 minutes is like a motherfucker. Like,
yeah, it's not enjoyable. Like the drive, like I love the scenery in Pittsburgh so much more than Florida because it's interesting. But the downside of that is driving is more work here than Florida.
Right. Well, yeah. Honestly, I fucking hated when we drove. We drove like a couple of years back when our friends moved to Maine. We drove with them and then spent like a week and then drove back down and shit. And I fucking hated the drive. I hated everything about that fucking drive through all of the fucking states. Where like, and when we came back down, we actually came back through Pennsylvania as well, but like Allentown or whatever the fuck, you know, that. Wherever the fuck that place was. So that was a pain in the ass because like it was all like super active driving. It was like everything was just icing over a little bit, but it was also fucking rainy as hell. And it's like goddamn 90 degrees straight down drop streets and shit. And I'm used to flat fucking straight shot driving. And I'm like, fuck all of this. So I get it. I do. Where you're like,
it's just work. I mean, I don't mind, you know, it's like fucking the Pittsburgh airport is like 2 miles of walking, like from long-term parking, no joke. And they have those fucking like Jetson, like fucking, you know, flat escalator.
Right.
What is it? But it's still 2 miles of walk, and it's not like far, but it's still a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well, Sean. So that's what we're talking about, man. Like even here, my wife, when she worked for Disney, like an office that was in Tampa, she was like an hour and a half each way from work. It was like she could have driven to fucking Orlando. It was almost 100 miles each way, which is why we bought the Prius, actually, because we were like, even a car payment, once we work out the difference in the fucking gas every week, it was paying for itself.
Yeah.
You know, because it was so much. Like every other day, she had to fucking fill like a 30-gallon tank. You know, it was fucking ridiculous, man.
Sean lives by a castle. Sean does. And,
Yeah, he
and
does.
it
But everybody lives by a castle in Ireland. Like you have your fucking yard castle, you know?
Yeah. Well, that was called a lot of estates had yard cat. Is somebody coming downstairs? Oh, I thought somebody was. Oh yeah. You know what? I meant to say something. Here's something interesting. Okay. So
we get to something interesting.
We're not talking about the yard castles, which they call, what do they call them in England?
You're just making shit up. He doesn't.
No. They call them like foibles or something. There's a name for it when you build basically a toy, like a little miniature castle on your. I can't remember what the name of it is. Sean maybe knows because he's there. They called them something. But a lot of people would find those and think that they're actual archaeological discoveries when it's really like built in the late 1890s.
It's like a kid's fucking fort in the back. Yeah, like a tree. It's basically a tree house.
Or it's like a garden.
Right,
thing.
but like the equivalent of like if you went out and found a tree house in your backyard.
Not from you. I know it's not from UK. I was waiting for that, but
but you're closer than we are. So
that's right. You're closer than
you probably have heard some of the terminology.
I can't remember what they called them, but well,
what
anyway,
what do they call them in Gaelic?
That's right.
Gaelic.
Gaelic. No.
Goddamn bunch
Gaelic
of
is a
Gaelics.
tough. Yeah.
I swear to God.
Now you do your Leslie Jordan.
Oh my God! What do you mean Gaelic? Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I love you guys.
So Cheryl, if you don't know, Cheryl is an art therapist. That's what she does. She's an art therapist, and she has. I kind of mentioned to her that out of all of the people involved in this podcast, I am the most positive one, and that blew her mind. Okay,
right, you're the least damaged member.
Yeah. So she has suggested or offered up doing an art, like one week when we do the show, doing like being a guest shot, doing an art therapy related thing for us.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Doing it, not like getting super deep or anything like that. I mean, the only thing is like, you can't say anything about her boobs. Like you can't, like just.
Why would I? You're talking to Squid, right?
I was no, but like she's offered that up, and I was like, yeah, you could do.
I mean, but they're good boobs, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. Like,
so I can't fucking say. Complain. I can't give her a compliment. Just I can't be like, hey, sugar tits, welcome to the show.
What up there, Flapjack? No, but so I thought that was a fun idea.
Just because one time I said something about Swit's wife's boobs. It was my birthday, and I was on a lot of different substances.
Yeah. Oh, were you? Yeah.
People hold on to that. People hold on to that forever.
One time. So she's talking about
the patriarchy. One time. You're like,
she's got a nice set of
you're like, I punched a midget one time in front of a group of children. It was one time. I'm sorry, little person. Yeah, I mean, it's one time. You know, that's it. All it takes is, and it's indelible. Yeah.
So. Is she holding on to that still?
Everyone does.
Yeah. Really,
they don't. Fuck that guy. I'm not coming on that show. He's going to talk about my boobs.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Aha!
First of all, I was not even specific about her boobs. I didn't make a comment. I just said maybe pop that top off.
Yeah. It's okay. So I remember what it is. They're called follies. When you build a castle primarily for decoration, it's called a folly because it's not an actual castle. It's just like a mini version.
I thought everyone was buying up the land around Sean to be lords and ladies. You know.
That's right. No, that's Scotland. That's Scottish. Caisleon. I don't know how to pronounce any of those because that's the thing with Gaelic. Gaelic words are spelled like that word is spelled Caislean.
Right, but it's not.
So, but it's probably, but it might be pronounced like Siobhan. You know, like it's like
it's clearly pronounced brown.
Yeah,
how?
Yeah.
Like
Gaelic is a tough Gaelic and Welsh are like tough languages because none of it makes any sense.
Anyway, back to the wife boob thing. I'm not gonna,
back to your wife's, not mine, his.
Well, no, I'm saying like I was just saying maybe we all take.
I don't even remember it, so
No, I
mean,
know.
I do, but I don't. So speaking
like,
of,
I remember, but we're not talking about it.
Speaking of Irish stuff and green stuff, the Tobin Spirit Guide in green from our original discussion is a Nerd Block exclusive green variant cover. That's the only difference.
That's the one I have because that's what I got it from.
Yeah. Also,
but I think I have the red from somewhere too.
Transformers, the rights to the Transformers comic are going to Skybound, whereas Dark Horse is going to have the rights to Ghostbusters going forward. They are ignoring the entire catalog of previous comics that have come out. And if supposedly, according to last year's announcements during Ghostbusters Day, the IDW comics or the Dark Horse comics will be will be the only comics that are considered in canon. So they're basically saying,
right,
fuck all you fans. Nothing matters except this.
I gotta read.
I love how we had like an hour and a half tangent though between when.
Oh, I had those set up. You guys just. No, I had those set up. I just was waiting for an opening.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like from when you started the discussion to like, okay, can I finish? Can I finish now? It's been an hour. Now we're talking about like, my wife. Let's get off that. Can I finish my fucking thing?
Can I finish?
My point is,
can I finish?
Mike,
can I finish?
I finish? Never make it uncomfortable for your wife. See, he just bailed. He was like, yeah, fuck you guys. Dude, I'm telling you, you fucking say one thing.
You say one thing about somebody's boobas, and it.
See, and when this happens, I haven't gone anywhere, so I always hear you guys. It's because I bumped my damn cord, and it kicks off my webcam.
I bumped my damn cord. Oh
right?
my
so
god!
I bumped my
damn
cord just
to
see if we shit talk.
This is crazy.
I'm the fucking bail. Oh, those motherfuckers just okay.
All I did was bump my cord, and the whole thing fell apart.
So anyway.
Yeah.
The point was, Mikey.
Yeah.
I would never make it uncomfortable.
That's nice to know. That's nice to know. Because
and also, can I assure you that since you were worried about any visiting, I'm not. It's not like. Do you think I'm a fucking animal? Like I'm gonna kick your front door open and be like, "Hey, let's fuck! I'm here for the gangbang!" Like
yes, I absolutely do. But that's not why. That's not what the reason. The reason is we're very, very protective of the whole COVID thing, and then we end up leaving and coming back, and then Zoe and I got sick anyway. And it's just
not only that, but you were like, maybe you're not gonna hang out here as much. Get a hotel and I'll come visit you.
Well, that was why. It wasn't because I think that you're Bacchus.
Well, you did say you thought I might be a bit much for the family.
Well, I agree. I think I'm a bit much for a lot of people. So that's
I do know how to behave.
I know. I'm sure you do.
I went to Squid's house once, and I wasn't like
once. That's the whole thing, though. Once.
Well, no, because he moved. Because he left.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We had to after that visit.
Yeah, because basically Steph was like, he knows where we live, so we need to move.
We need to go now. Yeah.
Well, he's talking about killing people. We're gone.
We're leaving.
Yeah. So that was the thing. I do know how to behave. I'm not gonna walk in and be like. Although I do. Okay, never mind. Because I do often I'll be like, let's play Who's in My Mouth. Stuff like that.
Chris, your alpha male syndrome parallels very much with the short fuse of a short man syndrome. It doesn't take. It's a jack in the box with one crank. It's like boom, and it pops back out. It's a one crank jack in the box.
But then I'll tell stories. Like I like to tell stories from my life, and apparently I am way more casual about violence and shit than most people are.
Yeah,
I grew up in that being a normal environment. So when I talk about beating a dude that tried to mug me in Louisiana to death, I think that's just a funny haha story. And until I look around and everyone's looking at me like fucking mouth agape, and I'm like, what did I say? Did I say something off? Or you guys gotta fucking ping me on those.
Bring some paint swatches with you next time and be like, so Phantom Mountain, be like, how white are you? Okay, you're over here on this palette right here. You're porcelain. Okay, probably shouldn't say those stories.
Right? Because you guys are all like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think that, hell, God, what the fucking Raleigh. That was his first encounter with me, was that he thought I was a psychopath as well. Although I definitely I turned it around. The last time at Adam's birthday party, I turned his opinion around on me. He no longer thinks I'm a psychopath. He probably still does, but I think he's now on I'm a fucking degenerate as well, because he was leaving early and I was like, oh yeah, because you got to go work out and post pictures on Facebook in the morning, right? You know, because especially for a while there, right? Every fucking day he was like bridge run, whatever. So I was giving him shit and he was like, oh no, we're going for like fertility treatments and we're trying to have a kid. And I'm like, well, I mean, I've made some pretty cute kids. Like, if you want me to throw a fucking shot at her, they're standing together, you know. And he's like, no, you know, we're just gonna go the way we're going with it, I think. And I was like, oh, all right, well, good luck with your jerking off or whatever tomorrow. Like, hope that goes well for you. And he's like, all right, it's good seeing you again, Chris.
Some people have gaydar, some people don't. Some people can read the room, some people can't.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's okay. We all have our disabilities.
So, but I think I'm charming when I do it, you know. I'm a roguishly charming individual.
That's one way to put it. That's fine.
Jesus Christ. Well, I just was talking to like, I don't know if you know Zach Hurst, like he ran Much Foundation and all that and does all the charity stuff and whatever. And I'm sitting there and he was like, yeah, no, I have a similar thing where I'm like charming and people kind of give me my way. And I'm like, yeah, I use mine for crimes. And he was like, okay, that's not how you're supposed to use that though. And I was like, yeah, but everyone's happy when I'm done. So, you know.
Oh my.
And that's that oversharing shit that I'm not supposed to do, right?
You got some problems, son.
So your wife's gonna come on and show me artworks or something? Like, how does that work?
It's like I to be honest,
I'll
with you,
do live therapy.
I don't know. I don't get it myself. I mean, not that I don't get it. I don't know how it works.
You're like, it's all bullshit.
Is it painting? Is it painting?
No, there's like sketch thing. Well, you basically I don't know. She'd have to explain.
I dated a girl after my ex-wife that went to Nazareth College up in New York for art therapy, but I never got to figure out what it was.
I mean, there's a lot of like, it's not, you know, so a lot of people when you talk about it think that it is somebody draws a picture and she looks at the picture and says, okay, here's what's wrong with you.
So like, so like people think it's like a reverse Rorschach test, basically.
Yeah, that is not what it is. A lot of the artwork is,
although I bet if the person's like scribbling and stabbing and being like, fuck you, mom, and then she could probably guess from their picture.
Probably. But a lot of I think, I mean, the best way to describe it is that like a lot of the artwork is used as sort of like an icebreaker, and it sort of gets you to communicate and gets you to talk about things, and it allows you to sort of loosen. I don't know how to, maybe I can get her
nearby. Could she come explain
I can
it?
find out. Yeah, hold on one second. Let me see. Hold on. Hang on.
All right. So when she gets on, I should be like,
no,
hey, you sweet ass. No, you're like, no, you shouldn't.
Can I borrow you for a moment?
I do not objectify women, okay? And you guys make it seem like I do.
Oh, for God's sake.
You know?
Always can.
I'm a virgin, man.
Idea about doing an art therapy session with the show.
So, all right, Swit, since it's just us for the minute, and of course, you know, our watcher at home, John. Bro, like, just tell her if that was a bad move that I apologize. All right.
What's that? No. She said,
"Come on and do a show together." Anyway,
it's funny. She said she's not camera ready, and I was like, "Oh, come on." You know, she's like, "I'm not camera ready."
Like, has she seen you?
And she, right? She's seen
like,
me.
I fucking wear half a pajama and a fucking dirty wife beater.
I'm not even wearing pants, and she's like, "I'm not camera ready." She's always camera ready. So
because she's beautiful,
I don't know what is happening.
Be like, baby, you're always beautiful and camera ready.
Yeah.
Like,
right? I don't know if she's like putting on makeup real quick or something, or she's
like, you roll over and bam, it's like the angels are singing. Just tell her those.
So she may come down and explain
Bitches
to
love
us
that kind of
what
thing.
it all is. Great, yeah. Let's not do that. I gotta hang on. Let me find out is there an echo if I take my headphones off, or is that okay?
Me. I don't know.
Okay?
Are we on?
Yeah.
Like you off? Okay.
Yeah.
Good? Sounds fine.
Okay, cool. So when she comes down, I'll take my headphones off so she can hear. But yeah. It's an interesting. I don't really exactly know how to describe it. That's why I asked her to come down. But
So before she's here, so I don't make it uncomfortable, I wanted to mention, I kind of teased in our chat thing about how we're like going to shoot a pilot possibly for Netflix, docuseries thing.
yeah.
So in the proof that I can get, like that I can behave thing, I had to interview for a position on the whole docuseries, hopefully, and it was for a DP.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
so
Double
I only,
is that
and it
double
was-
penetration?
yes, and it was a girl that I was interviewing, a woman. Okay, not a girl, like not a child.
Here.
So I only made the DP joke twice during the interview.
Here. Okay, I'll let you wear my hoodie.
Oh.
Here.
You have to wear your things. Your
No, we can.
You
we
can unplug it.
Yeah, we can unplug it here. So
Oh, are you gonna?
Hi,
be
Cheryl.
Hi.
I'm
Hey,
gonna let you
guys.
sit down.
I've been
Sorry,
told not to. I'm just kidding.
My hoodie.
Yeah, it's cold. It's like several degrees colder down here, and I don't know.
Yeah, it was really like.
Really?
You could tell, yeah,
Yeah.
It was like 30 something today.
So I want to just point out, Cheryl. I know that, like, you said that you didn't originally want to jump on because you weren't like camera ready or whatever. Like, you've seen what Mikey, how he dresses and presents himself publicly, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He and I are different people.
I can make
So
my-
literally, like, you could come in
Thank
like
you.
I'm sure just looking like you without
Yeah.
any, and you'd blow him out of the water. He's definitely punching up in this relationship, is what I'm saying.
So explain what art therapy.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
nobody
Zoe.
knows what it is and what I do. I know.
It's
I
like the
always-
coolest kid in the Pittsburgh area.
It's like
in the
yeah.
background.
Yeah, art therapy is it's exactly what it sounds like. I use art in therapy. So if somebody, I was an outpatient counselor before. I had Zoe actually. I actually went into labor right after her my surprise baby shower.
Okay.
So
Nice.
the joke is
That's
that
good
she was
timing.
so anxious to see her presence that she had
Nice.
she wouldn't wait. So that was my last day as a therapist clinically, and then I work as a nonprofit therapist. I design programs for after school and shelters and community centers and anybody who wants programs.
Okay.
So I merge the arts with therapy in a lot of different ways, but somebody comes to me with whatever kind of problem they have. I do a big intake assessment, and then we decide if they're comfortable drawing, then we'll start with drawing. If they're comfortable in collage, we'll do some collage work, or sometimes I just start with photography. Sometimes,
Okay.
guys, I can't hear because you're
I'm sorry.
you're like talking. I cannot.
Really? 'Cause
Sorry.
I don't hear them at all. Like I honestly, like, so that's, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're like really loud behind me. I'm like, I can't even hear you guys.
That mic must be super directional then, because like I don't hear them at all. Like,
Well, and also I'm blocking them.
yeah.
Sorry.
So I actually was looking at like possible. There's like a certification to get as like a dungeon master therapy thing now, where
I
it
don't know
like
what
takes
that is.
tabletop RPG like Dungeons and Dragons
Really?
and stuff, and like uses it as like a group therapy tool or one-on-one.
I could kind of see that. I mean, I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I took a story that I was writing and we made an RPG out of it just to see if I
Right.
could-
Well, that's the idea, right? Like, and then I mean, clearly some choices you make when you're role playing do probably have some roots and things.
Yeah.
So anyway, so my therapist fired me. So if you want to jump on and show me pictures and whatnot, I've got
fired.
deep problems.
You got fired. No, I mean,
I did because after 2 years of being with this therapist, like I yelled at her once,
Oh,
and she was like, "That's it, we're done." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that seems fucked up," because one of my big
wow.
things is abandonment issues, and I went in there that day saying, "Hey, so I've been having rage problems, and I'm yelling at people a lot when they antagonize me." And then she antagonized me intentionally, and then I yelled at her, and then she was like, "We're done."
That's wild.
And I'm like, it's been 2 years, and I haven't raised my voice, but okay, cool, fucking. I mean, when I yelled at her, I was screaming "fuck you" at her in her face, but that's
Well, then that would be a deal breaker. Yeah.
yeah, that
That would be a
got
deal
it got
breaker.
to,
That would be a deal. Yeah, you can yell like in general about something.
right. Well,
but
she was
not
being an asshole
personally-
to me, and I
You
was like,
can't
"Fuck you."
personally
Then.
attack your therapist. That's like a
I mean, I didn't hit her. I didn't touch her.
no. I mean, verbally, you can't verbally assault your therapist either.
Yeah, I
It's
guess.
usually a
Thank you.
immediate deal breaker right then and there. Yeah. I mean, we had client, like we had like 3 no shows and you're out policy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there are a lot of policies that people have, or like, you know, if you escalate to a certain point, you're beyond our outpatient work, you need to do a day program, or you need to be hospitalized, or you need, you know, like there's different levels of care. Outpatient is just like maintaining your sanity. It is not giving you sanity. It is just maintaining it for you, helping you. But I've seen people who were going to therapy reluctantly because the law told them they had to.
That's
and kids who did not want to be there.
Yeah.
And also kids in residential who did not want to be there, who would be punching holes in walls. They all came to me. So my specialty was
you can handle me.
Like de-escalate, do art, you know, and art is such a great universal connected thing, you know, where even if you're not an artist, and I worked with people who are like, I can't even draw. I'm like, it's not really even about that. It's about personality projections. Like we project ourselves when we watch movies, we connect with characters because we see ourselves in them. We see how they're feeling. We see, you know, how they emote. We see ourselves in those situations. That's why it's powerful. And film, they do that on purpose, of course. Yeah. And when I teach film, I always talk about the story, your protagonist, your antagonist, those aren't so distinct sometimes. Sometimes it's the tension within us.
Yeah.
So I actually did a coaching lesson. It was an intense 5-day training all this week. And one of the best things I learned from that was something I already knew, but just didn't have it in the same context. I've done a lot of, if you've heard of inner critic work, have you ever heard of what your inner critic is? The inner critic, we have 2 voices inside. One that cheers us on to our ideal life and what we want in life, our love, our relationships, our work, anything like that, any big decision. You've got that voice. You've got your cheerleader voice. And then you've got the inner critic. Your inner critic is the one who tells you, you suck, man. You're not, who are you to deserve it?
If it's not perfect, you should quit.
Right. You're not perfect. You're not your ideal weight yet. You're not as smart as other people. It could be like everybody who's ever bullied you or a teacher who was awful to you. All that gets internalized. That's your inner critic. So I've done inner critic work in therapy with people drawing it. Like, I want you to draw your inner critic. It could look like a monster. It could look like your high school bully. It could look like that teacher who just criticized you and made you feel like giving up.
Partner.
Yeah. Yeah. It could look like it could look like an evil ex. It could look like any number of things or people. So in doing that, I had an outline for like, oh, I know what my inner critic is. My inner critic is a teacher who's worried that I'm going to fail, be disappointed, or that I'm going to screw up with numbers because that's my weakness. I'm not a number person. I've screwed up my finances, right? And I'm like afraid to do that. Right. So I was like, oh, that's what my inner critic is worried about when it comes to this. What is that? I don't know. It's not my music. Is it your music? I don't know. So she put it in a different perspective. She said, you know, when you get in the car and drive, you have those 2 voices and they're both fighting for the driver's seat. You get to decide who ultimately drives, but your inner critic is going to put it in park. They're going to say, you can't move forward on this. You don't know what the heck you're doing. So you're in park, right? And then the other one's like, no, but you know what you're doing. Go ahead and do it. And that tension causes you to get stuck. You get stuck in that. You get paralyzed, you get depressed. You're like, oh, I want to do this, but I can't. You know, you get stuck in whether it's like a relationship cycle or like for me, I'm like, I want to launch an online program because I never want to work in person again. I don't want to go back to work in a classroom because I'm going to get sick. So I think, okay, I'll do it online. But then I'm like, I don't know how to do that yet. I mean, not on my own. I have people who set that up for me, but not enough. So my inner critic has been like, you need to learn this. And I'm like, okay, now I know how to do that. I have a frame and model. So what's holding me back? And it's my inner critic saying, you suck at numbers. What the heck? Why would you go into business with yourself when you don't know sales and marketing and you suck at numbers? And I'm like, that's legitimate, but maybe I have to do it anyway. So that those two voices are at war with each other. And I've got to figure that out.
Okay, so as a
Yeah.
career previous fucking like business consultant,
Yeah.
your absolute best thing to do in that is kind of listen to your inner critic, to be honest, and don't take all of that on yourself, because you have a skill set, right? And you only have a certain number of hours.
Yep.
And so your time is valuable. Do you want to spend it doing shit that you A, hate, and B, are not great at?
Yeah.
Or just pay somebody to do that so you can then focus on the thing that makes the money instead of cost the money, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's always, I was telling people, even if they weren't hiring me for it, I was like, pay somebody. Like, okay, you suck at learning or doing a website. You can either make some shitty Wix site that nobody like thinks it looks like a kindergartner put together, and it frustrates you to no end to even get 2 clickable links, or just pay somebody, like, or partner. Like if you're not,
my thing is partner.
You know what I mean? Like if you're not flush enough to like just pay somebody to do it one time and then you get everything, right? Then you partner with somebody who is more of the numbers guy. Like the guy who's usually on here, John, and I work well together because we're different people. Like when we had a 100% close rate on selling because we're so opposite. We would go together in every meeting. Like I'm more of a like the sizzle guy, right? Like I'm the let's talk about our feelings and how this is going to make you feel, and you're going to be happy with the end result. And most of the time, like more often than not, I was the one who closed the deal because of that, because people like that feel good, right?
Yeah.
But there are some people who were 100% about like, show me the ROI. Like I want numbers. And one would boom, pounce right on it. And, and literally I would watch him start pitching numbers. And if the person kind of glazed over, I'd be like, yeah, shut up, John. We're good now. Let me talk to you about this. And the guy would be like, yeah, okay, great. We had clients who it pissed John off and he wanted to not take them on, but I was like, dude, it's still money, because they would contact us not knowing that we were like equal partners, whatever. They'd talk to me. They'd be like, hey, I want to deal with you. I don't like that other guy. And he's just sitting there. Like they said it to his face, like in the meeting. And he's like, well, that's nice, you know? And I'm like, they're still paying our bills, buddy. You just smile and shut up. But you know, so partnering with people who are the other side is way better than just going full bore and saying, I can do it, because like, you know, that's how you burn out, or how you hate your job. Like when you
exactly. And I've always worked as a team.
If you're drowning in the shit you hate, you're never gonna really enjoy being, you know,
Oh no, last year I spent a whole year writing grants for other nonprofits. So not just my program ideas and my grants, but also for others. And I learned so much, but I already knew they wanted me to become an expert with nonprofit accounting. And they were like, Cheryl, you actually are good at it. I don't know why you say you're not. I'm like, because I absolutely hate it.
Right.
I would rather stab myself in the eye than work on a spreadsheet with a bunch of numbers that I don't care. I don't care. You know, like buy it if you want to, but you know, it's like, well, what are the numbers? What are the, you know, what's your impact? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'll give them to that. But for me, it's the story. It's the heart. It's the why. It's why do you want to do this? Why do you want to be a partner? What's it going to benefit that individual person? That's all I care about. I do not care about the numbers. And that's stabbed me. I mean,
it's
that's
like, look, you bring somebody in and just be like, look, just keep us above water.
Yeah.
And
like,
you know, I know I'm opening the door for you to completely like screw me and embezzle and whatever, but I don't care. Like, it's fine. Just keep me paid enough to where my bills are good and I'm helping people.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I want to do the doodles with the people and then talk about it, you know?
Yeah, like and that's been my job so far. Like when you have a board, it's like we have a finance guy. He sits next to me at board meetings and he's like, oh my God, every time you're here, you make everyone cry with your stories. And I'm like, because a lot of stuff happens in sessions, you know? But he's just like, he's like, man, I don't even really like kids. He goes, I just do this because, you know, I'm retired and I like numbers. I'm like, bless you, because we all hate that part. Like none of us want to do it. But we have no sales and marketing people. So we have like a nationally accredited program and no sales and marketing people. So it's like, this isn't going forward in the way that could be financially viable for me. So I'm working with other teams and partners, but it is interesting that the whole DIY concept is so,
Yeah.
you can't, unless you are good at absolutely every aspect of everything, it is going to tank. And I know that.
Right. Be great at one thing instead of shitty at 12,
Yeah. And yeah, it's just, it's the numbers part. And I feel like maybe other people can do that. And, so that
Hey, I'm shitty at 12 different things.
are you a numbers person, Steve, or no?
You
He's
mean like
actually a
data?
marketing guy.
I'm a marketing guy.
So am I.
So you guys are both sales and marketing people?
Yes.
I work in marketing.
Nothing. He tells me nothing.
I don't know what they do.
Here's the thing, man. Well, I don't do really anything lately. I mean, I just,
Yeah,
I'm a
you
shiftless
haven't-
layabout. But
And
honestly, like, we should talk, because I do know people who market specifically exactly that. Like, if you look up the Much Foundation, one of the guys that I hang out with now, he was like, they made like cybernetic arms and shit for
Wow.
children in South America, like, and got all the funding. So I mean,
That's amazing.
it's possible to, like, that I may be able to help you in that, like, where you're missing something. So
Well, and that's the thing is, like, if you don't have that piece, and I know that's why we're stalled the way we are. It isn't credentialing. It isn't not having a great project or testimonials in it. It is literally just not having a sales and marketing person, because we are not those people. And I used to be that person at networking events, but since
Right.
the pandemic, I'm not, we have old school funders. So my old school funders are like, they want to see your face. They don't want to just have a piece of paper come at
right,
them.
you're like, I'm not trying to die for a couple bucks. All right, so
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, so they used to come to my workshops, and I'd have a special guest day. They come in, and then they'd see what we do. They'd see the value. They talk to the kids that we were working with, or whoever I was working with. And that's generated really great grants and everything. But the pandemic has shifted all of that. Like, schools aren't even up and running full time. And it's just like, my whole team had COVID last summer. It was horrible. It was they're troopers, but I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to do this online.
I mean, one of the best things, honestly, that kind of came with the COVID thing, if you can call it a good thing, is that at least now it's stopping. It's not really there anymore, but like, at least for a while there, they were discouraging people to come into work sick at all.
Right?
Which should always be the policy. Like, I don't care if you've got the flu or whatever, like, don't come in. Like, why are you going to knock everybody else out so that you can not have to burn, like, just let people stay home sick. It's not that big a deal. Like,
I know.
the company's not going under because, fucking Squid had to stay home for 2 days. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to happen. Like,
yeah.
But like, everyone's always like, oh, you just have the flu. Like, just drag your ass in anyway. Now, at least, but they're going back to that. Like, but for at least for like a couple of years, they were like, oh, you're coughing a lot. Just, just stay home and, just get better, buddy. Just take care of yourself. When really it was purely selfish. They just didn't want you to come give them COVID.
Right.
But they're like, you know what? You should just take care of yourself. This is important. This is a work-life balance thing,
Right. And that's the thing is, like, I feel like the only job I've ever had honestly offered a work-life balance, and because it's like another special needs mom was the funder. That's the only reason I have a work-life balance.
Yeah.
If it was like any other industry, it would be like, come in, like, I don't care.
When it comes to anything like that, charitable or otherwise, they only give a shit when they have somebody that they relate to.
Yeah.
Like somebody will go through their life just like making fun of, like mentally handicapped people until they get like, oh, now I have a kid with that. Like, oh, this is messed up, guys. And it's like, yeah, gotcha. We had one of those, I have a buddy that I don't talk to as much now, but same thing.
Well, I've just always wanted to do this, and I have always worked with. I was one of the few therapists who would work with anybody, any age. Like, a lot of my friends will work just with adults, or like just with eating disorders, or just with children. Like, they don't. I'm like, I'll work with absolutely anyone. I don't care who it is. Like, anybody can benefit from like brainstorming and editing and all of that creative process. I could do that all day, every day. I love the process. It's just sales and marketing and numbers that is not my thing.
Well, see, I'm good at that, but my brain is broken.
So
Maybe we could work something out.
What would you do as an art therapy session with? Oh, that's Andrea. I don't think you've actually officially met.
Hi.
That is the Lady Zaragoza. The Lady Zaragoza from the Zaragoza Pirates.
You make me sound too fancy.
Hi, Zoe.
Way fancy.
Oh yeah, and there's
Hi, Zoe.
there's our spawn.
And we just saw Steve like in person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, last
right
week.
here.
That was a hologram. But so, what would you do as an art therapy session with like us?
Well, you guys actually, are you all artists as well?
I mean, in a manner of speaking.
I mean,
I used to draw, but then my hands became garbage. So,
okay.
like, I've got all kinds of chronic illness shit that makes my hands not work real well. I can't like write for more than about 2 seconds before they cramp up.
Okay.
So drawing is not a thing I do anymore, but I used to.
Okay. So I'm just thinking like that's the other thing. It's like, what are the limitations? What do you guys like to do? Like if you like to paint, if you like to like collage, I don't know, there's collage, there's painting, there's just me showing you pictures to pick out. That's the easiest one too. You know, there's a variety, like it's a
I mean, I'd be up for whatever. I'm an open book kind of dude. Like, also, I'll spill my guts. Doesn't matter. Trust me. I sweat. I left it.
Yeah, his book is so open the spine's broken.
Yes, Zoe.
Hey, Zoe.
Well, yeah, you can special guest next, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, you could pop on. What up?
Speaking of children, I have to tuck mine in. It's 9 o'clock.
Oh,
actually, we should bounce anyway.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'll think of something for next time. But yeah, I can think of something.
Okay. Well, also there is another thing I would like to ask you directly because I bet Mikey's never brought it up because he's like grumble. I don't know about Steph, but the other wives like Lindsay and my wife wanted to try to do like at least 1 week, just all of you guys, just talking about whatever nerdy.
What it's like to live with us.
Oh, that would be fun.
Well,
that would be an interesting one. Yeah. Did they have a concept or
nothing particular? Like we kind of just like freeform. I mean, when we had Dave coming on, he would try to like bullet point out 59 things he wanted to discuss for about 2 seconds a pop.
Okay.
But otherwise, like, you know, he would try to keep us on track. And with like, honestly, Mikey and I are the worst offenders.
Well, how many?
Like, the tangent.
I was going to ask, how many of you have ADHD?
Not. Do you Swit?
Not.
No, my wife.
Did not Swit. Everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I have other problems instead of ADHD.
Yeah. So
Right.
today, for example, Swit was like, "Let me tell you about the rights of these two properties," and then started, and then we went on about a 50-minute tangent before he just like saw a small opening and went, "So anyway, about the rights," and finished his story.
Yeah. So he'll relate to my difficulties because I have two. So I know. But that's also part of. It's weird. My brain works really fast, and I'm used to catching the information from ADHD and assembling that into a format that makes sense. But it is.
Yeah, I made mine a superpower. My therapist did try to give me like meds to like fix it, and I was like, I don't know, I feel slow and dull, and I'm not taking these. So Sean has a question. Go for it, buddy. What do you got?
Sean's in Ireland right now.
Yes,
yeah?
Sean is in Ireland.
Oh, I don't see it.
Sean's going to ask a question. Sean's in Ireland, not Northern.
Can I
Ireland.
ask a question? He says.
Yes,
He's
which technically is asking a question, but yes, you can ask another question.
He's across an ocean, so it's
Can I ask a question? What St. Patrick's not Irish? I didn't know that.
St. Patrick was.
That's not a question.
I know.
I believe St. Patrick was Moorish. I think. Teenagers not going to school for parents. Oh, how to stop that? Okay, what's
Wait,
that?
what?
Oh, like how to get your teenager to go to school, or
Oh.
yes, what would you do to get them to go to school?
Well, mine is homeschooled, so I
So
don't.
that's what we did.
No, so what would you do to get a teenager to go to school? Like attend it?
I'm assuming like skipping a lot or
Like truancy?
being a derelict.
Threaten them.
No, I would work backwards from a goal. Like I usually work from what do people want to accomplish, what's happening, and how to bridge the gap. So it depends on your teen's goal. Like if your teen wants to do, what do they want to do? In order to get to that, they
Lay
have
around and play video games if they're a typical teen.
Well, yeah, I mean teenagers.
Some have goals. You
Right.
could also be like, hey, so
Yeah.
you're not going to be writing or doing anything productive, then you don't need your thumbs. Bring them over here.
No, I think it's really about motivation. It's about capturing motivation and figuring out how to bridge that gap. Because I used to work with students who just didn't like school because they had a million learning disorders and school was hard. It was challenging. They didn't like it. And the easiest way to get out of it is to say, I'm bored. I'm bored means I have been discouraged for so long. I don't want to try anymore because it's too hard.
Well, see, I was bored because it was too easy. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Oh, getting up too late.
Yeah. So I was, so that's the problem there is that.
Then I would work on sleep. I would work on sleep hypnosis. I have to use that myself because I can get insomnia. I'm a night owl, so my sleep schedule's messed up.
Yeah, I
But
go to
I
bed
would
about
do-
5 to 7 in the morning, depending.
Mhm.
But I function on about an hour or two a day tops.
Oh, I could not do that. No,
So,
well, sleeping, teens need a lot more sleep. So that is going to be a problem, but it is like just disciplining yourself to go to bed earlier in order to get up, count backwards from the time you have to get up, count backwards 8 to 10 hours. And then that's going to be your unfortunate bedtime. But sleep hypnosis is really effective, or just like taking vitamin D as soon as you wake up. I was taking it I was taking it at 4 or 5 p.m. It was keeping me up. I didn't know you're supposed to not do that. So one of my doctors was smart enough to say, okay, you're taking all these supplements and that's good, but walk me through your day. What are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm taking that at like 4. And he's like, that's why you can't sleep. It's a hormone. I'm like, oh.
Go ahead and ask. Okay, hold on. Zoe has a question.
okay.
Is it okay if it's okay with you guys? Could you ask Doc some questions?
Oh, she wants to do her Doc Brown impersonation. Well, you
Yeah,
need to be
well-
closer to the microphone because people.
Oh, you're doing this like now?
Yeah, I
Oh, well, we were going to sign off, but
yeah.
real quickly. So
All right, real quickly. Go ahead.
one thing is Doc Brown. Okay.
Oh, you want to say one thing is Doc Brown?
here I'll get the
Dress.
camera.
Okay.
Now, so
Say I don't know. Say something as Doc Brown. Whatever.
Hey, questions, boys.
That's a good impersonation, isn't it?
It is.
Say Great Scott.
Oh.
Don't be 100 years old. Be younger. She likes to do Doc Brown as like a 120-year-old man. For some reason.
No.
She's also got the grumpy old guy face over her,
107. Yeah, me.
which is like.
Oh yeah. Here, sit.
So she's literally like,
There you are.
you're hearing the grumpy old guy voice
Before,
coming
that
out
was
of
your
the.
face. That was your face as far as they knew. It was the face going. Yeah. Say a line from the movie. Say.
121 gigawatts.
Yeah. Say.
21.
It's good. It's a good impersonation. Okay. Well, we have to sign off. You could do more at some point. Maybe we'll have our kids do a show.
You know what? We could do that.
We're gonna have the wives. Wives do a show.
Yeah, they could literally we could have the wives do one. We could have the kids do one. And they can talk about like Bluey and shit or whatever.
It's like the modern version
tough.
of the
Sorry, I don't know,
conversation
Zoe.
they have in the 70s. I love Bluey. Bluey's awesome, man.
Bluey's
I love
good.
Bluey.
Bluey is
But
fabulous.
I'll watch that without Jaina.
I think
There's
it's my
actually a
goal
Facebook
to be. It's my goal to be as much like
What?
Bingo as I can. That is my goal, is to be like the dad from.
You know what? But Bluey makes you either feel like a terrible parent or want to be a better parent or both, because they're like, man, look how present they are and like just doing all the crap their kids want to do instead of being like, stop being kids, god damn it, I'm stressed out about life.
I'm stressed out. Everything sucks. All right, let's say goodnight.
Stop making noises.
All right, we're gonna say goodnight because I'm
All
hungry.
right.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Guys,
Good night,
lovely
Sean.
having- Tell Cheryl it was great to have her, and I look forward to an art therapy
Maybe
thing.
she's on here too. That's his girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait. Real quick. That's This is Jay. Well, Jay. Oh, there she is. She's hiding.
She's peeking.
There she is. Oh, but damn it.
I think she popped on and said hi too at Zoe's online birthday party.
She's like the human version of Whack-A-Mole. She just kind of sticks her head.
Yeah, she'll pop out.
Yeah.
She's
All right. Good night.
all right, guys.
Good night, Steven. Good night, Christopher. Good night, Andrea.
Good night,
Good night.
Good one.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, wait, where's the button? Oh, there it is.